Hey, welcome into Next Man Up here on 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman out today. He is traveling with Vanderbilt women's basketball to the SEC tournament. So Connor Newt in with you today, joined by Cory Curtis of News 2. Cory, what's going on?
My mic wasn't on again, but I'm here. I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Yes. Cory and I have never done this together before, so this should be.
And we're talking about radio, just to keep it clear.
Yes. Yes. Okay. This is a family show.
All right.
We're talking about radio. And Parker Kelly, of course, behind the board today. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game National Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Cory, how was the combine? I know you're there.
Yeah, I mean, I go every year. I actually was able to go for a couple of days this year, which was good. Getting to talk to the coach and the GM on separate days. I wasn't a fan of when they did it, but after it's over, it's really not bad to spread it out and give yourself time to kind of rehash and reanalyze. But I really enjoyed getting to talk to the defensive linemen and the edges. The three guys that we've talked a lot about: Bailey, Reese, and Bain. But the guy, here's a guy nobody's brought up, but I loved talking to him, was Dominic Orange. He's a defensive tackle from Iowa State. Really big, really strong, and a ton of personality. And, if they wanted him as a rotational piece, I'm not sure what round he's projected to go in, but if they could get him on day 3, that would be nice.
Yeah. I feel like you're going to see a lot of picks defensively in the late rounds, just because I feel like it fits the Saleh scheme. I feel like that's something that.
Well, they need defensive backs,
right?
So it would make, and they need linebackers. So it would make sense to see a flurry of those guys, because those are the guys that play special teams too,
right?
And so you'll be looking for depth, and you'll be looking for special teams at those spots.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle the depth, especially in the draft. I think free agency will tell us a lot about what they're planning on doing in the draft. But Cory, who would you say, based on what you saw and who you talked to, were your winners of the combine?
Oh gosh, winners of the combine. Well,
not to throw you on the spot.
No, I know. I don't really. I mean, yes, every year there's the Indianapolis Colts, and they fall in love with some guy at the combine, and they draft him based on combine projection upside instead of actual performance on the field. For me, the combine is about kind of confirming what you know.
Yeah.
All right.
I would agree with that.
And when I saw David Bailey, I was like, all right. I saw this guy play, but seeing him here and everything, it confirms it more. This is a big, physical, explosive athlete. He's graduated Stanford in 3 years. He's an impressive guy.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah Love, you knew was a great player at Notre Dame. I mean, he was on my Heisman ballot. I had him third on there. He was, had a great year, and he had to split some carries. I mean, his running mate's going to get drafted as well.
Yeah.
But his combine confirmed, if you didn't think he was special or weren't convinced he was special when you watched him at the combine, you're like, okay, this guy's really special. And then you had guys who set records like Eli Stowers. I mean, I think he upped his draft stock some with his performance for sure. Those are just a few of the guys. Like with Bain, I loved how he showed up like without a haircut and just like, hey, let's go play football. I mean, that's
football guy.
That he is Cam Ward with his hand in the dirt. All right. He just wants to be a football player. That's all he really cares about. And I love that to start with a guy. So when you say, who won, those are the things that stuck out to me from what I saw. There were other guys who had great combines. Who's the wide receiver who ran like the 4 whatever?
Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
No. Carnell Tate. No. Mississippi State.
Brennan Thompson.
Yeah, Brennan Thompson. Yeah. He upped his stock because he ran lightning fast. I think for those receivers, when you show outrageous speed, you're going to get noticed a little bit more. So I think there's a chance for those guys, and I think there's a chance for some guys on the edges to show some things as well. But that's what stuck out to me.
Yeah, I mean, I may have asked you a subjective question because I agree with you. I don't measure wins and losses in the combine by oh, well, this guy ran a faster 40 time than this
Yeah.
guy, because it's such a subjective stat and every team is looking for something different.
Well,
But,
there's also straight line speed,
right.
and then there's football speed.
Right.
I said on the show Monday morning, Jerry Rice didn't blow up the 40 at the combine, but nobody ever caught him from behind.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
So, Chris Johnson and Xavier Worthy are both 4.2 40 guys, but I saw Chris Johnson run away from way more tacklers than I saw Xavier Worthy run away from.
Right.
And I like Xavier Worthy, so don't get me wrong, but he's not Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Johnson was electric those first few years.
I mean, yeah, there's straight line speed. Like, how effective was John Ross in the NFL?
Well, he was hurt the whole time.
Pretty much. But
that's a problem.
I would say
he actually got hurt running that 40.
Right.
So that should have been a pretty good sign.
I would say it was a failed experiment in terms of the John Ross experience.
The Bengals took him 10th overall.
Yes.
Something like that.
So, yeah, around that time.
That wasn't great.
And then played for about 8 other teams.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because he could run. And so everybody said, well, maybe we'll get it out of him.
It's like that picture of the broken record player with the note that says doesn't work, but could be fun to fix. So that's the John Ross experience. But I think you're right, Cory, in that, it's a subjective question. There are winners and losers for every single team. I mean, there are guys, of course, that jump out at you. Sonny Styles jump out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Freak of nature.
Absolute freak of nature.
Yeah. What do you do with him? What do you do with him?
That's kind of the question I'm asking with Arvel Reese. Is
what do you do with him?
Exactly. Where does he want to play? Where do you want to play him? There's a lot of questions that go into him.
With Arvel Reese, when I got in front of him, my big question for him is, what are you?
Right.
And he answered that. He's like, I'm an outside linebacker who in passing situations can drop down and rush the passer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, then you're not my pick.
Yeah. I don't think you fit here, but we need someone to go hit the quarterback.
Yep.
Not cover. Yep. But I think the combine is such an interesting topic to me because it's, like I said, it's subjective. Everyone's looking for something different. Teams are looking for different things. Media is looking for different things to reaffirm some things.
Yeah.
It's a subjective thing, but some of it's a little bit overrated. Some of it is good, but
you go from overrated to just not going.
Yeah.
I mean, which is really interesting. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you made a good point in that for you, it reaffirms some things you were looking for. Like, I would 100% agree with you. You saw more than I did, but I think David Bailey is an absolute stud. I think he would fit here perfectly. I like Ruben Bain a lot. And we're going to talk about Jeremiah Love here in a second, but I have no doubt in my mind that from a pure football standpoint, that guy's probably the best player in this upcoming draft.
He's special. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you see what he can do. And the big thing being a 3-down back. Like, I was asked yesterday about Kenneth Walker, and I really like Kenneth Walker. I've liked Kenneth Walker for a long time.
I do too.
And so this season was not a surprise to me. He stayed healthy and he really produced, and he was the MVP of the Super Bowl. But he's not Jeremiah Love.
Right.
Because Jeremiah Love is a 3-down player and an excellent receiver and a better pass protector. And Kenneth Walker is not a great pass protector. And so, when you're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, and Saquon Barkley, these guys who are true 3-down players and weapons in every sort of it. And Saquon's short.
Yeah.
And Love is what, 6'1"?
Yeah, he's decent size.
Yeah. So, and I think he's about 13 pounds heavier than Gibbs, and he ran a little bit faster. Which you're just like, oh, okay. and with him, you've got film of him playing. You've got proof of concept. You see him play.
Right.
Yeah, he can really play. So the numbers I'm seeing at the combine correlate to what I'm seeing on the field.
Yeah.
Like where Anthony Richardson, I'm seeing all this at the combine. I didn't see all this at Florida.
Right.
But
in his 12 games he played.
Yes. Thank you. Exactly. But that's why it has to just be, a lot of coaches and GM says it has to be a piece. And that's all it is. To me, the physicals and getting to know the guys is probably more value than all of the testing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Personality is big for me. That's why I wanted to listen to what David Bailey had to say, because I know his story. I'm familiar with, his brother's in the Army and, graduated early at Harvard, all of this.
He graduated from Stanford in 3 years.
Or Stanford, I'm sorry, Harvard.
Yeah.
It's the Fords at the end.
That's okay.
But I wanted to see how much of a leader I thought he could be, and he kind of reaffirmed that for me. I think he would be a great person to have in that locker room. But
well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if the leadership jumped off the charts at me.
Yeah.
He was fine. It was fine. I mean, he could stand there and answer questions. You know, there are some guys when their magnetism jumps off, like Dominic Orange.
Yeah.
Jumped off the page at me. Does that correlate to leadership? Not necessarily.
Right.
But you're like, well, that's a personality. And then there are some guys, like when you see Cam last year and you saw him working out with Shador, and Shador wants to go make Instagrams or whatever he wants to do. And he's like, no, man, I'm a football player. I'm like, okay, he's a leader.
Yeah.
He's a leader. And so you see those certain things. And, anybody with the traits of a David Bailey who can graduate Stanford in 3 years and who can go to Texas Tech and get 14.5 sacks and then articulate the things at Texas Tech that helped him out and made him a better player. I think some of those things can translate, but some guys just have that power to lift guys up and pull them along. And there's not a ton of them, but when you see them, they jump off the page at you.
Right. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to get involved in the conversation. Our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis here with you. We're going to get into Jordan. I'm going to keep doing this all show. Jeremiah Love coming up next.
Yeah.
Jordan Love.
I'm going to keep doing it all show. It's either that or Jeremiah Smith when I'm talking about this guy.
How about Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams.
The Iceman.
We're coming up next. We'll get into Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, let's do it.
Does he make sense for the Tennessee Titans offense? We'll discuss that coming.
Makes sense for every team in the NFL.
We'll get into the specifics of that. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis here with you on Next Man Up on 102.5 The Game. Today, Vanderbilt baseball takes on Central Arkansas at 3 p.m. Catch all the action on 94.9.
Lost last night.
They did. It was
Come on, guys.
I don't know what's going on with
Scottie
Vanderbilt.
Pippen play?
Scottie Pippen Jr.
Both the Pippins.
Both the Pippins. Catch all the action on 94.9, The Fan, and the Game Nashville app. Coverage is presented by Gary Force Acura. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Vanderbilt baseball. They went through the weekend in Vegas and lost all three, and then lose a midweek game to Central Arkansas.
Not good.
So things are not going well for the Vandy boys.
They had that run of like 4 straight 10-run rule games, but you don't get to play Marist all the time.
No, you don't get to play Division III schools that I didn't know existed.
You didn't know about Marist?
Don't diss on Division III.
Hey, Marist is the proud owner of the Dutchman, Rick Smits. Former center, first-round pick of the Indiana Pacers.
I'm all for random basketball players.
Randos. The Dutchman.
The Dutchman.
That just shows I'm old. That was like when I was your age. All right.
Cory, do you know who Don Beebe is by chance?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Special teamer.
I played against a team that was coached by Don Beebe in college.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, that's
Did they have strong special teams?
Oh, yeah. They had strong everything. They had a guy that had like 60 touchdowns in a season, quarterback.
Oh.
And he probably would have gotten drafted if he wasn't 5'9". So
wow. Yeah, well, that's a problem. Except for Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Well, the new Call of Duty's coming out soon.
I don't know.
You guys remember what his last snap was? Last snap is an Arizona Cardinal.
Was it against the Titans?
Against the Titans.
It was the ball that bounced off his face.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Have fun in New York, Kyler.
That's his butt fumble.
Yeah, it's
I love
reminiscent of a Dan Orlovsky almost.
I love little Grogu.
Grogu.
He looks just like Grogu.
Yeah. Speaking of guys that will probably be, I don't know. I was looking for a good segue here, but
that's all right.
I couldn't find it, but that's okay. Let's talk a little Jeremiah Love here. Cory.
Yeah, absolutely.
A guy that you and I hit on a little bit in that first segment.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that is just a good football player.
No, I would say great
Football
great
player.
Football player.
Has the potential to be an elite running back in this league, I would say. Does he make sense for the Titans at 4? I think, again, another subjective question. It depends on who you're asking.
Gosh, he's only 20 years old.
Wow. We finally reached the era of NFL history where I'm older than people being drafted.
That's unbelievable. He'll be 20 when he gets drafted. Listen, if you're just strictly going by the book of needs, then no, he's not the top need. Yeah. Running back is a disposable position as well. Now, as Mike Borgonzi correctly pointed out, there are running backs, and then there are 3 down running backs who are game changers, and there are just a handful of those guys. Mm-hmm. And you can go down the history of the league and know who the best ones are. And like right now you've got Saquon, Christian McCaffrey kind of at the end of the line, and Jahmyr Gibbs being the best one right now. And so, and that was the name that Borgo threw out. And when he threw out Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm like, okay, there's potential here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're thinking about it because Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. If I'm drafting fantasy football, I'm not even thinking about the card. I'm just handing it in Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
I mean, he is electric and a 3-down guy. And now that David Montgomery's gone, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So look, he is certainly worthy of it because he's different and he's special. Mm-hmm. He's not just a running back. And again, I really like Kenneth Walker. He's not Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
He's not, because Jeremiah Love is a 3-down guy who you can line up in the slot and on the wide outside. You can do a lot of things with him, and a really explosive player as well. So, I always say it makes sense to add good football players. Mm-hmm. Does it make as much sense as saying, hey, do you really need an edge? Yeah, you do. You do. Can you get an edge in the second round? Yeah.
This is a deep edge class. I would say.
Now, are you going to get Reuben Bain in the second round? No, you're not. But you do have $100+ million to spend in free agency. And, the big question I've got, Connor, is can you trade down? Can you go to 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8? We were looking at 7 during the break, and I don't think the Commanders have the capital to make that deal happen.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a second round.
They don't have a second or a fourth.
Yeah.
And so if they traded their third, they'd pick in the first and the fifth, and they just won like 4 games last year. So I don't think they're interested in that.
Yeah.
So they may be off the board, but but again, they're going to want an edge.
Yeah.
And so maybe you make something happen with them. But I would love trading back and still being able to get him. Now maybe there's somebody else who loves him and trades with the Cardinals at 3 and says, we want him.
Yeah.
Because I think it's possible. I think it's possible somebody looks at him.
And it's highly likely. Actually.
I mean, you think about Mike Ditka traded an entire draft for Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
That was not a good move. But that's why we say with everybody, it just takes one guy to fall in love. And there's plenty to fall in love with this guy. And so look, there'll be people who say that would be stupid if they would take him. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
No, I wouldn't either. There's enough holes on this team to where I think they can get versatile here, whether they want to trade down or stick.
You need great players.
Yeah.
And if you think he is a star, he's a star.
Yeah. I mean, you need premier players, especially heading into a new stadium. You need box office attractions. And I think,
you need to win games.
Yeah, that too.
That's what you need to
That's probably the most important.
Yeah. And that makes people happy. But, and look, they don't have a ton of firepower on offense.
Yeah.
DK gave them some life last year. And I mean, what did he score? Like 6-7 touchdowns?
Yeah, around that. Yeah.
And it was like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because there's just so little there. I mean, like you talk about versatility. What if you trade back to like 18 and get a whole bunch of picks and take that tight end out of Oregon?
I'd be okay with that.
Who ran like a 4 whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's versatility. People probably throwing stuff on their radio right now, but what if you could add a second and a third and then get that guy and be like, all right, put some stuff together here.
Yeah, I think it's just running back is such an interesting market.
Yep.
Because like you mentioned, you can find a lot of people to carry the ball. I was asking myself this question yesterday when I saw Detroit traded David Montgomery out. Why would they break up that duo? Because that offense flows through Gibbs. It doesn't flow through Montgomery. He complements him well, but it flows through Gibbs. And I think they can find another big power back out on the free market to help complement that. But like you've mentioned, Gibbs is your 3-down back. Gibbs is the guy that's going to make offense happen for the most part. So I think in terms of the Titans taking Jeremiah Love, I would be on board with it because he's a 3-down back. You can supplement him in at receiver some. So you could throw him in at the slot.
Sure.
He's capable of doing things on special teams. Not that you would need much of that from him because you have Jim DK. But
I know I kind of like him on kick return, though.
That is true.
Put him and DK both deep on kick return?
Yeah, put both back. Yeah. Oh, that'd be dangerous. Yeah. So I would be okay with that. Like you mentioned, though, if they were to trade down to that 6, 7, 8 spot, one of those 4, I think, Bain, Bailey, Reese, Love, you would probably be able to get. So you'd have options.
Yeah.
That's what I mentioned versatility.
Yeah.
There.
Yes, exactly. And I think that the Jermaine Johnson Tavondre Sweat trade gave you versatility.
Yes.
Because you definitely still need an edge. That you still got to come up with one in this draft, but I don't think it means you have to come up with one at 4.
Right.
Because you might be able to get a Zion Young or a TJ Parker at 35.
Yeah.
I say might because you don't know where these guys are going to mix and match and fall in. There's going to be somebody there. And then there's the Backus kid from Illinois.
Yeah.
Who you probably can get end around 3. Maybe in the 4th. But you could wait till round 3. And that was a really productive player at Illinois. I haven't seen his combine numbers, but he was a very productive player. But I would be looking at 35 to say we're going to get somebody there.
Yeah.
And if we don't, then we don't, and we'll go bring back Draymond Jones.
Someone that Arden Key. Welcome back.
No. Draymond Jones. Or who is the other guy they brought in, number 53. He was good for him this year.
Jihad Ward.
He was good.
Yeah, he did well for them.
Yeah, he was a good player.
615-737-1025. Trevor on the text line asked an interesting question. If they somehow land Linderbaum, the center from Baltimore, would you be more in favor of them drafting Jeremiah Love?
It doesn't affect my decision at all.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
I mean that's a Cam Ward decision.
Yeah.
I mean that's protecting your quarterback. I think it's all, I don't know about Linderbaum's leadership skills. I remember last year I asked at the time the offensive line coach Bill Callahan, who's the leader of this group? And he said, well, I think we kind of lead by as a whole. We lead as a group. And I was like, okay, you have no leader.
Mhm.
And the end of the season, you saw Peter Skoronski, I think reluctantly somewhat, step up and be the leader of that group. He's the one who stepped up in the film room and said, guys, this isn't good enough. This will not get it done. And you saw them really improve the last however many weeks of the season. And when they brought in Kevin Mawai and Ben Jones, both centers, it was to be the leaders of the offensive line.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if Linderbaum is that kind of guy. I don't know. I just know he's been a good player for a long time in Baltimore. But could he be that linchpin in the middle, who is the leader of that group? Because I think they could really use that, unless Peter just wants that job now.
Right. I have a hard time believing he's going to leave Baltimore. I know they didn't tag him, but I have a feeling they're just going to give him like a market setting deal and he's going to take it.
If they were going to give him a market setting deal, why wouldn't they have just done that to begin with?
That's true.
Now you I mean, the Bears center just retired yesterday.
Yeah.
Which
was crazy.
So Linderbaum's price just got higher.
Yeah.
All right. Because now you got another team that needs a center.
I mean, he definitely knows that he could probably get paid elsewhere. So it's up to Baltimore to try and retain him. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. More with Cory Curtis coming up next. Plus, I have a hypothetical for you.
All right. Love them.
We'll do it coming up next. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis here with you on Next Man Up on 1025 The Game. Heavy on the McRae today, aren't we? I love it. I love it. Right Time HVAC and Cromwell Media are teaming up to bring comfort back to your home. Is your heating system struggling or completely out of commission following the winter storms? Nominate yourself for the Right Time Home Rescue and tell us your story. Enter today at thegamenashville.com/HVAC, and you could win a new HVAC system installed by Right Time HVAC. Right Time HVAC, locally owned and operated. There's never a wrong time to call Right Time. Welcome back in. Next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman out today. He is traveling to the SEC women's basketball tournament with our Lady Doors, who are poised to have a hopefully good run.
They had a good day yesterday.
They did.
Shea Ralph, Coach of the Year.
Mhm.
Caleb Blake's Player of the Year. Aubrey Galvin, Freshman of the Year.
I am with Jake Lyman on the petition for Michaela Blakes needs to be National Player of the Year.
Oh, she very well could be.
She very well could be.
She averaged 30 points a game in conference.
Ridiculous.
I mean,
Unheard of.
In conference, everybody knows you're coming. I mean, they played you before, and they still could not stop her. They're only the fourth school in league history to pull that trifecta off.
That's unbelievable.
Tennessee, South Carolina, and I can't remember the other one.
I'm trying to think.
It might be Kentucky.
Yeah, perhaps.
Not sure.
Perhaps. I'll have to do some research on that. Corey, I have a hypothetical for
Word.
you.
Let's do it.
So I saw this on Twitter. I don't want to take credit from.
Thank you for calling
something.
it Twitter, by the way.
Yes, I will forever call it Twitter, just like I will forever call it Thompson Bowling Arena. It's not Food City Center.
Isn't it both?
It's like Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena.
Flip it. Thompson Bowling Arena at the Food City Center.
That is ridiculous.
TBA.
That is ridiculous overkill.
I will forever call it TBA. It's just going to happen.
I'll call it Knoxville.
I call it that city that we shouldn't really talk about.
Wow, that's
I hate
Memphis.
that city.
But go ahead.
Yeah, well, Memphis is its own country, but regardless. Corey Curtis, would you rather
All right.
sign Kenneth Walker
Mm-hmm.
and draft an edge at 4? Bailey, Bain, Reese.
My pick.
Yes.
My pick of edges.
Yes,
Okay.
whichever
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Or draft Jeremiah Love at 4
Mm-hmm.
and find a proven edge out in free agency, such as a Trey Hendrickson or
He old.
yeah, he's old. He might not be the best example here. Dude out of the Eagles.
Julian Phillips.
Julian Phillips. Yeah.
That's a good question. So I can get Julian Phillips and Jeremiah Love, or I can get my pick of pass rushers and Kenneth Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. That's tough. It's tough for me because, like I said, I view Walker as Kenneth Walker as disposable.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm signing Kenneth Walker, I'm likely replacing him in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the chances of him being on the team for a 4th year are very slim. Whereas if I draft Jeremiah Love, he's on my team for a decade.
Yeah.
And if I bring in Julian Phillips, again, he's probably getting one contract, right?
Mm.
He's probably getting one contract.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he, 27 years old?
Yeah, I mean, he's relatively young, but at the same time, once an edge rusher hits 30, 31,
Yeah.
that's
Then they're all operating on 1-year deals.
Yep.
And so yeah. So that is what you're looking at. Or I could have like David Bailey for a decade.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is tough.
It's a tough one. I was thinking about it last night. I was like, I don't really know because there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah. I'm paralyzed on my choice. I guess if I'm picking at 4 and sticking, I'm probably going to go edge and Walker.
Mm.
Probably. It's close.
Yeah.
It's close, but that's where I'm probably going to go.
I think I would agree with you, but I could make the case in that you need good football players on the offensive side of the ball. And
Yeah.
I understand running back's not your highest position of need, but that's a guy that I think is completely transformative of this offense. You've seen examples of running backs transforming offense across the league. You've mentioned Gibbs throughout the show. Bijan Robinson is another guy that comes to mind. Saquon Barkley, guys that were taken in the top 10 in terms of running backs that maybe their teams haven't won games, but they have truly, taken their offense to the next level. So I think there's pros and cons to both sides. I would probably go the edge. I'd probably take Bailey, but you could convince me on Bain too. Reese would probably be number 3 in terms of choices.
Yeah,
there.
it's interesting because I feel like most Titans fans feel like Reese is their third choice of those guys, and he's probably the second player off the board.
Probably. Yeah.
Which is
the Jets.
the Jets. But it's just interesting how that's the narrative here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans here want it to be Bain and want that to work.
Right.
They like Bain and they want him to work. But I think there's enough people who look at David Bailey and go, wow, you can't deny the production. And his comp is Benito in Denver.
Yeah.
And I mean, if that's what he brought you, I mean,
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't had that in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I think in terms between those two, Bain and Bailey, Bain, I think, could provide you more production right away.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bailey has the higher ceiling, and I think he could be a lot better player down the line.
Is Bain a better fit for the 4-3, though?
I mean, the thing I look at with Bain is that the 4-3 will provide you a lot of one-on-one opportunities.
I think they can make it work with either one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're getting a good player regardless.
Yeah.
And I trust Robert Saleh to get, a defensive guy where he needs to be. So
yeah, God, you watch Bailey at the combine.
I mean,
I was like, wow.
He was. I mean,
when I walked up to him at the podium, I went, wow, he's bigger than I thought. I mean, he's only 250, and I was like, that's a big 250.
But he's like a jacked 250.
Yes, yes, he is.
Not a me 250. He's a jacked 250.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of my journey with David Bailey has been interesting because during
you guys go for like a picnic or something.
What's this journey you're talking about?
I wish my mental journey with coming around on David Bailey. Since the college football playoff, I was like, okay, I really want to see what Bain looks like, and you proved me right. He looked good throughout the college football.
Bain's tape is nice.
He's great, but Bailey, in researching him through Big 12 play and then through the college football playoff, I know he didn't play the best, or his team, Texas Tech, didn't play the best against Oregon, but he looked good in that game. So,
well, I mean, Ohio State didn't look good.
Yeah.
And they're going to have 3 guys taken in the top 10.
Yep. So one game is not indicative of how good a player is, as I'm learning. But my journey with David Bailey is, I've come growing interest in him. And now I feel like he might be the guy at 4. If you were to ask me,
it's a tough choice.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one.
Usually we're all convicted on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
This is the guy they want. This is the guy we want for them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of room to play around here. And like you said, part of that is they have so many needs.
Right.
And again, what they need most is really good football players.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the camp I'm falling into right now. Give me the best football player. And you could say, well, then that's the safety out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean,
Caleb Downs.
Yeah, Caleb Downs.
He's got fall to like number 10 or 11 written all over him just because of positional value.
Well, but the other thing is there's some concern about a degenerative ACL in his knee. And that could drop him as well. But he's a great football player.
Oh, yeah.
Great football player. And so, you say, well, the Titans have safeties. They do. But
not him.
If they could have Kyle Hamilton, do you think they would find a spot to play him?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would. But I think I don't think that's going to be the guy. Caleb Downs is not going to be the guy.
No,
but they need good football players. And at 4, you have a lot of good football players to choose from. And so what differentiates it for you? Is it need? Is it superior play? Is it, hey, we need speed? What is it? That's what Mike Borgonzi and company really have to figure out.
I'm a pretty young guy, as you could tell. I'll be 22 in May. But I can't recall a time in Titans history, at least in my lifetime, where it's been feeling so wide open in terms of what they're going to do in the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, think you have a general idea of 2 directions they can go, either running back or edge rusher?
Well, they could go receiver too.
They could. Yeah, they very well could.
I mean, the guy we haven't brought up is Mekhi Lemon.
Yes.
Now, I don't think at 4 they're going to draft Mekhi Lemon.
I would trade down for him.
But if they traded down to like 8, 9, 10, I could see them taking Mekhi Lemon.
That's a number 1. That's a guy I would feel good about.
That you talked about risers. That's a riser.
Yeah.
That's a riser.
I mean, he had a good combine.
Yeah. Mel loves Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah.
But Mike Borgonzi, Mekhi Lemon's name came out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Unasked, Maguire Lemon's name came out of his mouth.
I would like him just because he's got an interesting personality, as we saw. The weirdest face of all time.
Yeah. I like him because he's a football player.
That is true.
I mean, he's not just a receiver; he's a physical player.
Yeah.
And gets the ball in his hands and does stuff with it. You know, I guess you could say he's like Alec Iamaner, but like better.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that, actually. That's a great comparison.
Just a physical guy, but more yak.
Yeah.
More yak with him, but not a burner. But and they need speed, but maybe you take Chim out of the slot
Mm-hmm.
and you let him run. I mean, Chim can run.
Yeah.
And you let him run some fly patterns. He did get deep against the Patriots.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I like sending Chim DK deep.
Well, he's also a guy who returns punts and kicks.
Right.
He's used to catching the long ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's some value in that.
Yeah, there's familiarity with that method. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Tennessee Brew Works, the official craft beer of the football offseason coverage on 1025 The Game, as we are talking about Titans offseason here. We'll continue this conversation coming up next, plus some free agent moves that are potentially on the horizon for the Tennessee Titans. We'll get into that coming up next. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly here with you on Next Man Up, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in. Next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly here with you on the program, talking a little bit of Titans offseason, free agency, draft, continuing our conversation here on the two-tone blue. I don't really know if we can call them two-tone blue anymore.
No, probably not.
Which
Probably be the one-tone blue.
The one-tone blue. The one-tone light blue and red.
and we can no longer, I'd probably not call them the flaming thumbtacks anymore either.
We can just call them the thumbtack.
The thumbtack.
That's it. It's
the TriStar tack.
Everything is being simplified, and
we'll see.
We'll see.
We're going to find out in 8 days.
The bald blue. The bald baby blue.
The bald baby blue.
Baby
little alliteration.
There you go. Speaking of Titans free agency, Cory,
okay. Yep.
There has been a lot of smoke in the direction of the Titans signing a certain defensive tackle,
John Franklin Myers.
Yeah,
I think that deal's done.
Can you think of a more telegraphed free agent signing in the history?
Well, the funny thing is, it's not coming from the Titans.
It's Jermaine Johnson.
Jermaine Johnson, Jonathan Franklin Myers, like all those guys. They're like, yep, I'll see you there.
Next Wednesday.
I'll see you there. Yeah. No, look, and like as soon as they traded away Devondre Sweat, you're like, okay, they're definitely bringing in Jonathan Franklin Myers. And look, 7.5 sacks each of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
As a down lineman, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And putting that next to Jeff, I mean, that is a lot more disruptive than Tavondre was. I mean, Tavondre's a different kind of player, but I think you would hoped he was going to be more disruptive in the passing game than he was. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll be stunned if he's not a Titan.
Yeah.
It's like Wan'Dale Robinson. I will be very surprised.
That's another one.
If he's not a Titan.
Right.
These things have not been hidden. All right. So, we'll wait and see. But if I had to bet on one guy to be a Titan, it's Jonathan Franklin Myers.
I mean, I would feel good about a defensive front of Jermaine Johnson, John Franklin Myers, Jeffrey Simmons, and then one of Bain or
Ruben Bain. Yeah.
Yeah. I would feel really good about that.
Yeah, I would too. And, can you bring back Sebastian Joseph Day?
Yeah. That's a good.
Yeah. And can Femi take a step as an edge?
That's the question. And I'm curious to see how much of a role he played. Not that he's not going to play a role. They're going to rotate him in as much as possible just because he's a second-round pick in his second year coming off an injury. So
he's got to produce.
Yes, he's got to show that he's capable of delivering on the field. So Titans defense is just interesting to me. I'm interested to see what kind of moves they make. How much of an impact does Saleh have on that? Because they're bringing in Saleh former guys.
Well, they traded for one,
right?
Which because so we asked Mike Borgonzi how much. This was at the combine. How much do you listen to Saleh in the free agency process?
Mm-hmm.
And he said there's value in talking to guys who coached these guys before. And so when they made the trade for Jermaine Johnson, like later that day or the next day, you're like, okay, Saleh definitely has his. And also I think it's important to remember Borgonzi hired this guy.
Right.
So he's going to listen to him probably a little bit more.
Yeah.
They're tied at the hip a little bit tighter. And so, Saleh says, I need this guy. I need this guy. I mean, look, you didn't win at the Jets. You got fired.
Yeah.
So you don't need all those guys. But
please no.
but Jonathan Franklin Myers is a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jermaine Johnson's a good player at a decent price. And I think it does help to have a few of those guys when you're making your transition to tell everybody, this is what he's talking about. This is what he wants us to do. This works. We've done this. Just work, do this.
Mm-hmm.
And guys who can also be like coaches on the field, at the same time when the games are going on. I do think having some familiarity with the head coach in the system, some of those guys does help. That doesn't mean you got to load your whole team up with, the 2021 New York Jets,
right,
by any means. But I think having a couple of them doesn't hurt you.
I'm okay with the familiarity on both sides of the ball. Robinson makes sense to me because they need a slot guy, familiarity with Dayball. He knows that offense. And I think he would work well with Cam Ward. On the other side of the ball, obviously, it's, familiarity defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Saleh likes guys that understand the system. It's a new system for this franchise. It's a new system.
Fit the system, too.
Fit the system, yes.
Yeah, I mean, know the system and fit it.
Yeah.
From his perspective, yeah.
It makes sense. And, I would feel really good about an edge or a front line with Franklin Myers, Johnson, take your pick of Bain and Bailey, and then Simmons.
Yeah.
They would complement each other well. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's go to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Adam in Portland is on the line with us. Adam, go ahead.
I don't think there was anybody on this roster, man, like currently constructed or the free agents that's leaving, that you could go, if Cam needs 8 or 9 yards, you could throw it to him.
Yeah.
And so that's the person you got to go get. And that person screams Juwan Jennings. And Saleh had to coach against him. He knows he's a dog. I don't think Borgonzi realizes how much the fans in Tennessee love him. Like, I don't think he realizes, like, what a home run pick that would be. So if you can find a way to get Juwan Jennings, man, I would take him over Wan'Dale Robinson. I'd take him over all the receivers out there, really. Like, even I understand that the couple of guys in Indy would be intriguing, but, like, Juwan Jennings is just special, man, and I think he would be fun to have in Nashville. I don't know. I wouldn't want a receiver at the top of the draft when you need so much more, but I think Juwan Jennings fills a big need for Cam.
Thanks for the call, Adam. Yeah, it's interesting because Jennings and Wan'Dale Robinson are two very different wide receivers. They both play the same level of position, but Jennings is a lot bigger and a lot more physical than Robinson. So I think you're probably going one or the other if I'm the Titans. I don't think you can pay Jennings to be your number one receiver.
I mean, Jennings is going to cost you $20 million.
Yeah.
And I like Juwan. And I don't mean to poo-poo what Adam has to say, but you don't sign players because it's popular with fans. That's not how it's done. All right.
Yeah.
And I know that angers fans because they want Tennessee players or they want star play or people they pursue. You pick up players to win games.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I like Juwan Jennings for a variety of reasons. Number one, when called upon, he has been productive because he has been basically like a 4 in San Francisco. But every time somebody gets hurt, he comes in and he produces. Last 2 years, he's got 132 catches for about 1,600 yards.
That's pretty good.
And 15 touchdowns. So he's been a good red zone target too. So he's not a 1. He's not a 1, but he is a productive player. The other thing is as our friend Teron Davenport would say, he's a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy gets in a fight every game. He does not back down from anyone. And I think this team could use some dog in it. All right. You know, Jeffrey Simmons is a dog. And the guys say Cam is a dog. I mean, how many other dogs are there on the offense?
I mean,
not many.
Probably not.
Not many. No, not many. They could use some of that dog. So, you know, do you sign Jennings or do you sign Robinson? They are two vastly different players. You know, I think Robinson is viewed as the guy who wins quickly off the line, and you get him the ball and see what he can do. Yeah. And he's proven he can do it. He's got 185 catches the last 2 years.
Yeah.
All right. There is proof of concept there and proof of concept with Brian Dable. So, you know, I think if you make that signing, you feel good about the production you're going to get. You know, when they brought in Adam Humphries here, I was like, okay, going into that season, Adam Humphries was a guy I thought they needed to go get because they didn't have that guy who could win immediately off the line. He ended up getting a concussion and it never really happened for him here. But, you know, you needed him to come here and take that next step. That didn't happen. The thing I would just caution is Juwan Jennings isn't going to come here and be 1,000-yard receiver. I mean, he has not had a 1,000-yard season. He did have a 975-yard season. So maybe I'm wrong. He's 5 years in, going into year 6. I do think he could come here and help you because he is a physical player. He'd be good in the blocking game. I do think he costs Alec Iomanner some snaps. Yeah. But, you know, ideally there's 60-plus snaps in the football game, and everybody gets to play. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. And you know, Robert Saleh should know him, you know, but it's Brian Dable's offense. Yeah. That's pretty clear. Right. You know, he hired his staff. Like the first time we met him, I was hiring my staff. I met with the general manager. I'm like, I've never heard an offensive coordinator say he met with the general manager before. But so, you know, how much of that offensive side of the ball is Dable and how much of it is Saleh? Right. That's what's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I like Jennings too, but you can't let the Murfreesboro and Knoxville in him sway your opinion. Right. All right. Because that doesn't go into the thinking of why you sign him. You sign him because you think he's a dog and he's a good red zone target. And he's a physical player,
Mhm.
you know, and you think his best days are still ahead of him, but you know, not for the other stuff.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to get involved in the conversation. We're going to move off the Titans for a little bit. Big day last night for the Nashville Predators,
Yeah.
not because they won.
White flag.
White flag. The sell has begun. We'll discuss that coming up next. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly here with you on 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly here with you, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game National Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Talked a little bit of Titans in the first hour. We'll come back to the Titans later on in the show, but the Predators sell-off has begun.
Mm-hmm.
Michael McCarron traded last night to the Minnesota Wild.
Good trade.
Which is great value for him. I asked Elliot Friedman about this a couple weeks ago. I said, what's the kind of value you would get for Michael McCarron as a fourth line center? And he's like, well, you look at the build and what he's capable of doing on the ice, you would be surprised. And sure enough, they land a second round pick from Minnesota for him.
Well, he was originally a first round pick for Montreal, just never became that guy. But I look, you can replace Michael McCarron.
I agree.
And you can replace Cole Smiths, who got traded after the game to Vegas for a third round pick.
And a defenseman.
And a defenseman. But so I love both of those trades for them. Look, I don't love the idea of putting up the white flag and trading out players, but they are where they are. You're still going to have to convince me that trading Ryan O'Reilly is a good idea.
I agree.
But they've got a lot of draft picks, and now they've got even more. Got a second and a third. And again, Cole Smith and Michael McCarron are guys you can go out in free agency and affordably replace.
Yeah.
You just can. The question is, how deep do they go by Friday with the trades? Do they find a partner for Marchessault? Does somebody come in with like 2 first rounders for Ryan O'Reilly?
I mean, if that happens, I would be at peace with O'Reilly. I wouldn't love it because I like O'Reilly.
I think it's going to have to be an overwhelming trade.
Right.
But you don't know. Somebody might be prepared to, go all in and say, we want him here. Remember what they got for Tanner Jeannot from Tampa.
Yeah.
That was a ridiculous deal. And so, does Steven Stamkos now consider waiving the no trade?
Mm-hmm.
Is he like, maybe I do want to go somewhere else? I don't know, but we've got about 72 hours to find all this out.
Does it make sense to start selling everything off, being as where they are in the standings?
I think so. Just because, number one, I don't think they're gonna make it.
Yeah.
They're just not getting there.
Right.
And if they just had to pass one team, you'd be like, okay. But there's
a cluster.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 teams all in there, and then I think they've proven they're not good enough to move on.
Yeah.
And so, you just get ready for next year.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I do, but I'm also for not giving guys away.
Right.
All right. But I like the value for both of these trades. So I commend Barry on getting good value for these guys. And here's the other thing we didn't talk about, Connor, is I don't mind seeing the young guys play.
Right.
I don't mind seeing Zachary Leroux and some of these other young guys come up and get to play in those spots and get some time on the ice and see if they can help you for next year. Because I've been here over 20 years, and I've been watching forwards come up and fail for 20 years.
Yeah.
And so let's find out. Let's find out and see who's got it and who doesn't. Is there another Luke Evangelista out there who can actually help your hockey team? Because gosh, this team has had more forwards given chances that, Tanner Jeannot was one of the most successful.
Right.
And then he fell off a cliff and got traded.
Yeah.
And got traded for a fortune. Who's the big Russian? He's with the Wild now.
Yakov Trenin.
Yakov Trenin. I liked Trenin. I did like Trenin. But his production also dropped off.
Yeah.
But he's an effective NHL player.
Yeah.
But but he's still not like a first or second line guy.
Right.
And so
he's depthy.
They have not been able to draft those guys.
Yeah.
They just haven't. Evangelista is on the second line, which is good for him. I don't. He's certainly
he fits there.
He's not a first liner, but he's a developing player, and I think playing with Stamkos has been great for him. Because you've been able to see his creativity in the passing game, and Stamkos has been able to finish.
Yeah,
and that's why both their numbers have gone up together. But so I think taking a look at some of these young guys in Milwaukee, getting some more picks, maybe you stumble across somebody who can score some goals. It's time.
I think it's important, like you said, Corey, to see the young guys start to develop. You mentioned Evangelista. I want to see Matt Wood take
Yeah.
some steps. He's looked
He's
fairly
looked,
good in
since
his
the
first
break.
year.
He's looked better.
Yeah.
He's looked more energized.
Yeah.
I mean, like even last night when the team was not very good, there were a couple times I saw Matt Wood. I'm like, okay, he went hard into that thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, because he's still 20.
I think he's 19.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think he looks like a player.
Mhm.
I mean, he's a very big kid. You've seen some very skilled shots from him. He had a really nice pass that didn't turn into a goal the other night, but it was a really nice idea.
Mhm.
And I liked the way he saw the ice when he made it. So I'm stock's going up for Matthew Wood for me.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. Like if he could be a second line player with Luke Evangelista next year,
That's a hit. I think that's a good pick.
that would be trending in the right direction.
Right. We've talked about this before, not you and I, but I've talked about this on the station before. And I'm always one of those that feels, I want to see them go for it. I want to see them play meaningful games.
Life is short.
Life is short. Why not? But based on where they are right now in the standings and the way they played last night, I know there were factors that went into that. They were all defeated, that McCarron had just been traded, and
Well, she got gutted by the Red Wings in that
Yeah.
no call. That was
brutal.
I mean, that call basically meant, okay, we're trading.
Yep.
Now, as they said, we didn't lose because of that, and also that call didn't put them in that position.
Yeah.
They've gotten in that position on their own. But if they get those 2 points, maybe they don't make these deals.
Right. So I understand the sell-off is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're not going to move off of Forsberg or Yossi or Saros or any of these big hitters.
And that's why I say I don't trade Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Because how many years of Yossi and Forsberg do I have left?
Right.
I'm going to keep Ryan O'Reilly for that.
Yeah.
That's my
It's
opinion.
a locker room guy.
Well, and
He's more than that.
He is, but he's a great player on the ice.
Yeah.
Now you need some more great players. But if you get rid of him, that's another great player you got to go find.
Mhm.
That's why I didn't want to trade Jeffrey Simmons. He's really good.
Yeah.
You could draft first round picks 3 times and not come up with a player that good. And so I'm not doing it. And so, look, if somebody comes at you with an overwhelming trade for Ryan O'Reilly, I get it. But I look at the age of some of these Predator veterans, Forsberg, Yossi, Stamkos, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to hang on to O'Reilly because if I want to be good next year, I'm going to need him. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about being good next year.
Yeah.
We don't have time to be good 2 or 3 years from now.
No.
We've got to be good next year.
I agree. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to get involved in the conversation. Our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll continue the conversation on the Predators up next. I want to go beyond just 1 year with you, Corey. Should the Predators take a step back fully so they can succeed immensely in the future? We'll discuss that coming up next. Corey Curtis, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly here with you on 102.5 The Game. Next man up here on 102.5 The Game, Connor Newt, Cory Curtis in with you today, talking about the state of the Nashville Predators franchise. The sell has begun. Michael McCarron traded to Minnesota for a 2028 second-round pick. Cole Smith traded to Vegas for a third-rounder and a defenseman. So we're just kind of talking about the state of the Nashville Predators.
Yep.
They are clearly not accepting being in the murky middle, and I think fans are starting to become opposed to that. I know personally I am starting to become opposed to that. So overall, the state of the franchise, where does it go from here? What do you do with the coach? What do you do with the remaining roster? These are all the questions that go into effect in the near future. And I don't think we have the answers to that right now. But if you, Cory Curtis, were in charge of the Predators on this day,
oh boy,
not to put you in another hypothetical, but what would you do here?
Man, I hate saying I don't know, because that's not a great answer. But I would be selling like they're selling, and I would bringing up my young guys. The coaching situation, look, they were awful last year. They were bad to start this year, and Barry stuck with them, and he was rewarded. They got out of it, and so talk about being in the murky middle. They made this huge push to get back into the playoff chase. And that was fun. That was exciting. That was great to see. They just couldn't sustain it.
Yeah.
They kind of went, and then they kind of leveled off. And so there's just leveling off there right outside the wild card. And they didn't have that extra gear. So you don't have enough. I mean, I think you've seen on your first two lines, you've got good scoring there. I mean, Stamkos, O'Reilly, Forsberg, Evangelista, you've got, those two lines. It's just the rest of it. You just haven't had enough scoring from the blue line, haven't had enough scoring from the third and the fourth lines. They need more. And Marshy's a big part of that.
Yeah.
What's he got? 10 goals.
Yeah. He has not been good.
And he was a guy you thought was going to be a 30 goal scorer for you.
Yeah.
And you were paying him to be a 30 goal scorer for, and for whatever reason, that has not been a match. So, I mean, that would be one contract. And it's not because I don't like Marcia but because it's not a match.
It doesn't.
It's not working for him. And since it's not working for him, it's not working for us. So I would be looking to move that, probably going to have to eat some of that deal. All right. And then, then you've got to make the decision on the coach. But, you're asking me, that's not the situation we're in, because the GM now can't make that decision.
Right.
The coach's future relies on the new general manager.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think Andrew will be back next year.
I agree.
I think the new GM will want to, unless they make the hire so late that they can't do it.
Yeah.
All right. That would be the only reason why I think Andrew would be back next year. Not that I don't think he can coach. He's proved he can coach in this league, but for whatever reason, it could be entirely talent driven. They just have not been able to make it happen here with sustained success. I mean, the best year he had was when they had all the young kids up and they were skating up and down the ice, playing the way he wanted to play.
Yeah.
And you could argue that Barry didn't give him the right pieces. You could make that argument.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
Right.
Because the GMs don't fire themselves. All right.
Yeah. I mean, so Barry was just doing what, I'm not excusing Barry Trotz from blame, but he thought they had the momentum to buy in and go all in.
Look,
he did.
You can get a guy with 555 career goals. And you see this year, he's got 30 now. I mean, he got better this year. He's unquestionably a different player than he was last year.
Absolutely.
Much more active player, much more creative player. Does a lot more of the dirty work and has been rewarded handsomely for it. But so, that's an after the season question on the coaching front.
Right.
I guess I'm going to field calls on O'Reilly. And if something blows me away, I'll have the conversation with Stamkos and say, we love you here, but I respect where you are at in your career. And if you want to waive your no trade clause, I'll see what's out there. That doesn't mean I'm going to give you away. But if you want a chance to win another cup, we can consider it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's realistic or not.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the conversation that I would have. But, Forsberg, I'm hanging on to. Roman, I'm hanging on to.
Yeah, I think you have.
Here's a question: what if somebody came to you for Juice?
I would listen.
I would listen too.
I understand that's the goalie that you've built your franchise upon in terms of that, but he's just been so up and down.
He has not been Pecorine.
Right. And I don't think he was ever going to be Pecorine, but you paid him like he was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's good, but how many games do you feel like he steals for you? And I'm sure that the guys in the locker room would tell me I'm an idiot. Oh no, everybody says their goalie's the best.
Yeah,
but from my perspective, he's average, right?
I mean, he's not in that elite tier with Hellebuck and all those guys. I don't know if he's in the tier below that. He's an upper echelon goalie, but he's not.
When he's going good.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great, but like you said, he's really streaky.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, for $8 million a year, I'd like a little more consistency.
Yep.
That doesn't mean I'm, running away from him. But if somebody wants to pay me for him, I'd listen.
Yeah, I would absolutely listen to that. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Texter on our text line says, what makes you think the Preds will be good next year? New GM and coach, same aging players on bad contracts, a decent goalie for another decade, and maybe some good young players coming sometime. Boy, that sounds negative. I'm probably overreacting, but this is the worst shape we have ever been in.
Well, it's not. Look, I was here at the beginning. That is not the worst shape they've ever been in. They had some talent-starved teams before. They have multiple 30-goal scorers when we went like 15, 20 years without any 30-goal scorers. So, they're not in as bad a situation as they have been in before. But no, it's a legitimate question. Why do I think they should be good next year? Well, because every year is different, and usually it doesn't take that much to flip that switch and get you going in another direction. So maybe a coach who fits the talent on the roster a little bit differently. And maybe you add, those 2 or 3 pieces that fill out the second and third lines, and now you're 3 deep and you're scoring. Does Evangelista get a year better? Does Matthew Wood get a year better? Does Zach LaRue become a these are ifs. These are ifs, and I always say hope isn't a strategy, but you're asking, how do you get better?
Yeah,
and you got to hit on things. You've got to hit. I mean, if you don't hit on things, it's not going to happen. And so you got to hit on coach. And you got to hit on, 2 free agents probably, and your young players have to get better. And your young players have to be a part of the solution.
Yeah, hockey's a weird sport in that. Yes, roster is important. Yes, you want talent on your roster.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is very systematic. And how do these guys fit the offensive system my coach is preaching? And, it depends on how the coach next year, assuming there is a new one, how does that system fit these young guys? How are they managing the puck? Are they getting to the goal decent amount of time? Are they playing defense? Is your goaltending good? There's a lot of factors that go into this. So
there's a lot of hate for the last head coach here.
Right.
And he's doing all right in Minnesota.
I mean, he's running a cup contender out there. So,
I mean, so again, like that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Every coach. I mean, when Andrew was in Florida, didn't they win the President's Trophy?
They did.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's what I say. Andrew knows how to coach.
Yeah.
But got to have.
It's systematic.
You got to have the right pieces. And you got to right personalities, right pieces. And for whatever reason, for him, because that's why I'm always like, I don't think Andrew Burnett's a bad head coach, but for whatever reason, it's not working here.
Yeah.
Is it the pieces? Because I don't think he forgot how.
Yeah.
All right. And so that's why I say, is there just not enough talent? Is it the wrong kind of talent? There's something that's not meshing.
Yeah.
And you can either change all the players or you can change the head coach.
It's a lot easier to change the coach than all the players.
Yeah, history says that in the NHL, because they go through coaches.
There are many examples.
Who's the guy in Detroit now? McClellan?
Yes.
How many teams has he been on?
I mean, I would need 2 hands.
Who's in Anaheim? Quinville?
Yep.
How many teams has he been with?
Montgomery over in St. Louis.
I mean, these guys just roll through the league. I mean, Andrew will be a head coach again.
Yeah.
And now, okay, I don't mean to sound like I'm firing. I'm not. I'm just saying, when a new GM comes in, do I expect that to happen? Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I mean,
It should be.
I wish nothing but the best for him. I would like nothing more than to see him hoist the Stanley Cup as a Nashville Predators head coach.
I mean, look, neither of us are questioning his ability to coach. You know, there's capability,
but we know they missed the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, that's not acceptable.
Yeah. It's for whatever reason, like you said, Corey, it's just not meshing.
Nope. That's why I say Marshy's not meshing. And I think Marshy's been a great player for a long time. I don't think Marshy forgot how to play hockey.
Nope.
But it's not meshing here.
Yeah.
And that's it.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to get involved in the conversation. We're going to move on from the Preds here. Coming up next, we'll talk a little bit of college basketball. Vanderbilt men's basketball. They get the win last night in overtime in Oxford.
Gutty performance.
A gritty performance from the doors. Is it time to do we know what Vanderbilt men's basketball is at this point? Is this a team that's capable of making some doing some damage in the SEC tournament? We'll talk about that coming up next. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis here with you on 102.5 The Game. Next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis here with you on this Wednesday. Going to get into some Vanderbilt men's basketball and SEC basketball as a whole. But before we do that, a little bit of news from Geodis Park, Cory Curtis.
Well, that's right.
It looks.
Sorry, man. There is an international friendly coming to Geodis Park. I'm sorry, I was texting somebody else, but I'll pull it up.
It's all good.
It's a big time matchup coming our way. Two English Premier League teams. I will pull that up here and find out. Yes, who it is. That's right. All right. Liverpool and Sunderland at Geodis Park, July 25th. So that is going to be spectacular for fans.
Yeah.
A chance to see two English Premier League teams. It was fun. Who did they play last year? Aston Villa.
Yes.
Yeah, that was. You love to see that. But with all their tournament games and everything, I don't know if they want to add another game to the list. But yeah, so July 25th, two English Premier League teams, Liverpool and Sunderland at Geodis Park. That should be a lot of fun.
It's always fun when the Premier League comes to Nashville. I remember,
and it's a friendly, so it's not
a friendly. So
yeah. So it's not a Premier League game. And forgive me, soccer fans. I think that's during the World Cup break.
Yes,
and
I think you're right.
And that's why it's a friendly, because it will not be all of the players from those teams. But I know they want to have activity at Geodis Park when the World Cup break is going on. They just don't want to shutter it down.
Right.
And so, I mean, World Cup's going on. Now you can have two English Premier League teams in your building.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
I remember this was a few years ago, but it was in Nissan Stadium. It was Man City versus Tottenham Hotspurs.
Yeah.
Fun time.
The one at Nissan Stadium?
Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, I was there for that. Listen, I can tell you the amount of times I've sat in Nissan Stadium, like in the seats on one finger. And it was that.
I remember that game.
It was that soccer game, and we were way up top, but there were a lot of fans there. For that.
It was loud. I remember that. I'm not a huge soccer person, but I was at that game, and that was a fun time.
My daughter was like 2 or 3 at the time.
Yeah.
And it was really high. She was not happy with how high we were.
I think it was a really hot day that day too. It was like in July or something.
Yeah. I don't remember. I just remember it was hotter than usual.
Yeah. I do remember that though. That was a few years ago, but I remember that.
A long time ago.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk a little bit of SEC men's basketball.
All right.
Vandy gets the win last night. They beat
overtime.
Ole Miss in overtime, 89-86. So they complete the sweep of the Rebels in the SEC regular season. They've got one more game for the SEC tournament. They take on Tennessee in Knoxville coming up on Saturday. But at this point, Vanderbilt with 7 losses, all coming from the SEC. Do we know what they are heading into the SEC tournament and even beyond that into March Madness?
What aren't they 10-7 in the league?
They are. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, double digits victories.
They'll have a bye,
in,
I'm sure.
In the league is good. Look, I think they're a good team. And I think if they made it to the Sweet 16, then that would be a good year.
Yeah.
I think 1 and out in the tournament would be disappointing. I think they need to get at least to the round of 32.
I would agree.
The round of 16 would be nice. I think playing outside the league will help because, as we talked about in the break, I think some people in the league have kind of figured out how to defend them.
Yes,
a little bit better. But again, I think, like when they lost to Kentucky shot 59%. All right, you only had 22 rebounds in that game because Kentucky shot the ball so well. I think one way for Vanderbilt, and last night's another night where they got up to 80. This is a team that was scoring 100 earlier in the year. They need more defense to turn into offense. They need more stops. They need more steals to turn into transition. And that's when you get Tyler Nickel open is in transition. That's when you get Tyler Tanner particularly open is in transition.
Yeah. So
they definitely need to turn up the defense to turn defense into offense. Because they need Duke Miles and Tyler Tanner to shoot the basketball better. Not Tyler Nickel to shoot the basketball better than they have for the last few weeks.
Yeah, that's certainly something major that needs to happen. I'm wondering if Miles is still battered up just because he hasn't shot the ball nearly as well as he had early in the season. And I understand competition has taken a step up when you're playing in the SEC, but I'm wondering if he's still a little bit battered just because of the way he's been shooting. He hasn't looked nearly as effective. And I understand, again, the teams that they're playing are tough competition. But like you said, Corey, that's
okay.
That's a guy they need to step up.
Let's put the numbers together here. Duke Miles, Tyler Nickel, a combined 7 for 26.
Yeesh.
All right. That's not good enough.
No.
And the numbers were very similar against Kentucky
Mhm.
between those two guys. And so they need both of those guys to shoot better. Their combined 3-point shooting last night was 3 for 16.
Ugh.
And you still won the game.
Yeah.
Tyler Tanner had 34 points. You're asking that young man to do too much of the lifting. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, he is not the biggest guy. When it gets to the tournament time, they're going to bounce him around. And, it's going to get tougher. So, Karaki comes off the bench, or I think he started last night. He had 16. So, he gave them something. And he has shown in splashes that he can put points on the board. So they need more consistency from him. But those two other guys we're talking about, they really need those guys to shoot the basketball better. And I think the best way they can do that, this is my opinion, Coach Byington could say I'm an idiot, he would be right, is to turn defense into offense.
No, that's how you do it. Defense creates offense. And this is a team that I think needs to do that just because they're not as deep as a scoring unit as other teams in the SEC. And what I mean by that is they don't have the size in the post that some of these teams.
They're bigger than they were, but they were really small last year.
Right.
And so, yeah,
they're not as physical a team as other teams in the SEC. So how do you combat that? You get physical on defense. You turn defense into offense. I wholehearted agree with you on that, Cory.
Yeah. Tyler Tanner had 5 steals last night.
Yeah.
That's
how you do it.
Yeah. And those all turned into points. I don't know what Ole Miss shot from the floor when that thing was over, but I think their defense was better last night.
Mm-hmm.
But Ole Miss isn't a great team. They're 12-18.
Yeah.
So, and frankly, that's a game Vanderbilt, you got to win.
Yeah.
Going into March, you got to go win that
game.
game.
It was a must win for them.
And they were behind and they didn't waver and they, they controlled overtime. And so it's a good win. It's on they're 23-7.
Yeah.
If I told you before the season 23-7, you'd be like, sign me up.
Yeah.
It's just, when you start 16-0, it raises expectations.
Yeah.
But,
the bar was raised.
When you go into league play, it's just like we always talk about Titans in the AFC South. Doesn't matter how bad anybody is. You can beat people when you're bad, and they can beat you when they're bad because everybody in the division knows each other.
Mm-hmm.
And in conference play, things get more difficult.
Yeah.
And I expected them to for Vanderbilt, and so 10-7. I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it. And again, Sweet 16 would be great. But I talking about the limitations that you're talking about. That's why I have a hard time seeing them get past that point.
I agree. I would say, this is just my opinion, but I would say Sweet 16 is probably the ceiling for this team.
Probably, but you just never know.
You never know.
You never know how matchups are going to go.
It's called madness for a reason.
Yeah, and you never know who's going to get hot. What if Tyler Nickel gets hot in March?
He's got the capability to do so. He's just that kind of player.
Yeah.
So
that's why I say that's why you play the games and you see what happens.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll continue the conversation on SEC basketball coming up next. Nashville next week is the tournament of the SEC. Who needs a deep run in that tournament the most to carry some momentum into the national tournament? And how much would this help Vanderbilt and the other team in Tennessee with their seeding and their momentum heading into the tournament? We'll discuss that coming up next. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis with you today on Next Man Up on 102.5 The Game. You are just heavy on Tate McRae today, aren't you?
I
It's
just
about
feel
time
like
you realize.
you just turned your back on me.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for this.
Yeah, I thought it was way back Wednesday or whatever.
No, 80s
We'll
Wednesday.
get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I won't be here on Friday, so we got to get our white girl music in now.
I could get behind 80s music. I love 80s music.
Debbie Harry's white girl.
Yeah.
One more time.
Debbie Harry
Debbie Harry.
from Blondie.
Okay, that'll be next.
From
Yeah,
Blondie.
You don't know Debbie Harry.
Yeah, you play Blondie every Wednesday.
I just didn't know that was her name.
Yeah, Deborah Harry.
I
That's
thought her
right.
name was Blondie.
No, that's the name of the band. Thank you.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys.
That's the name of the band.
Next man up here.
Man, this girl on ESPN looks like a Romulan with those eyebrows, man. I can't
Yeah,
get
she
past
does.
it.
Which one?
The blonde one.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she's the new host of First Take.
She's a Romulan. She can't be trusted. She's a
No.
warring person.
She's probably plotting all their demise right now. Just after this show, I'm going to take Stephen A. to the back.
Romulan.
Next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Duke, Cory Curtis here with you on this Wednesday, talking a little bit of SEC hoops. The SEC tournament is next week in Bridgestone Arena. A lot riding on the line for some
It
teams.
is wide open, man.
It is very wide open, and that's what I want to talk about.
All right.
Who needs a run here the most?
Okay.
I think Florida. A lot of these teams are safely locked into the tournament.
Florida, nobody wants to play Florida.
Nobody wants to play Florida right now. Florida's a national title contender.
Yes,
but
they are. They're the defending champs.
yes. In terms of, seeding and who just needs momentum riding
Mhm.
into the national tournament, I think there are a few teams in the SEC that need that.
Sure.
Kentucky comes to mind for
Yep.
me.
How about Texas?
Texas for sure. You could make the argument Vanderbilt and Tennessee need some momentum. They're both penciled in.
They're both okay. They're both okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big win for Vandy. They're guaranteed a winning record in the league now,
Mhm.
10-7. You got Tennessee this weekend, and Nate Ament did not play last night.
Yep.
And they won despite that. When they played South Carolina, it was awful.
Mhm.
But I don't know if Ament plays, this weekend or not.
They may hold them out. Yeah.
And so, I think Tennessee becomes obviously more beatable in that situation.
Yeah.
But I think both those teams, they're locked in at 5-6. So I don't think that there's a real big.
Yeah.
There's a real big. Now you'd like to play well, but I don't think it's the end of the world.
Here's an interesting one.
Okay.
Auburn. Auburn is riding right on the bubble. I believe they beat LSU last night, which isn't saying much because LSU is not very good.
Dude, they're 16-14.
Right.
Okay. To me, and I know like every year teams get in that I shake my head at. No way.
The only way I think they should be in is if they just outright win the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, like if they go 2-1, they're still 18-15.
That's not good enough.
That's not good enough. They're 6-11. Oh, no, they're 7-10 in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So who do they have left in the league?
They play Alabama Saturday.
Yeah. So they're probably going to lose that game, and they'll be 7-11. I'm one who believes that you need to be 500 in your league to make the NCAA tournament.
I agree with that.
But I know that's not reality.
Right.
Because like you can go like 6-10 in the ACC and get in.
Yeah.
But
I mean, look at last year for the SEC. 14 teams got in. And
yeah. Well, they're going to get 11 this year.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. How far does it go? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Auburn is right at that 11 line.
Yeah. Auburn and Georgia are the two that are interesting to me. And I think Georgia may have shored themselves up a spot in the tournament last night as they beat Alabama by double digits. So those are the two that are interesting to me in terms of, do they need to make a deep run in this tournament to, shore themselves up a spot? But I think you're right, Cory, in that I would not put Auburn in. Not right now.
No, but it looks like they're going to be there. It looks like there's a big trade in the NFL. This is according to ESPN. The Chiefs and Rams are working out a deal that would send all-pro cornerback Trent McDuffie to the Rams for their Rams 29th overall pick in the draft. The Rams have been looking for corner help, and so they're willing to deal to get a guy that they view as
important.
as elite.
That's important. They're trading this year's first-round pick,
Yep,
which would be the number 13 pick. So now Kansas City possesses the 10 and the 13.
Well, no, is that what you're seeing? Because I'm seeing the Los Angeles for a package that would include the 29th overall pick in the first round of the 2026 draft.
Let's see. Oh, okay. This is I read this wrong. Adam
That's all right.
Schefter says LA still owns the number 13 pick in the draft.
Yeah, because didn't they make that deal last year with the Rams where the Rams got Pierce?
Yes.
And that's the 13th pick.
Yeah. it's the
And that's
Falcons
why
pick,
they're willing to deal number 29 to get a starter at corner. And Matthew Stafford's not getting any younger. They're trying to win the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And so that's a big trade. That's a big trade. The Chiefs, continue to try to just simply reload at cornerback, which they've shown that they can do. And that's also going to open up more cap space for the Chiefs to find some help on offense.
Yes. Which I'm scared that Jeremiah Love is going to fall to them at number 10.
Yeah.
And there
9.
he goes.
Number 9.
Or 9.
Yeah. No,
there he
it's
goes.
possible. I know the Chiefs were looking hard at defensive players up front, so they could do that too. There's also thought the Saints could take Jeremiah Love at 8.
Yeah.
But I'd have to see what that does for the Chiefs. I know they opened up like $45 million restructuring Mahomes deal. It really looks like they're going to be aggressive.
Yeah. And they should.
And it's just is there enough out there?
Yeah.
That's it's one thing to have money, it's another thing to spend it. It's another thing to spend it well.
Yeah.
We've seen the Titans spend it well in the past, bringing in players like Delaney Walker and Kevin Mawai and David Thornton and Chris Hope, and I'm going back a ways.
Yeah.
And Ben Jones. These have all been effective free agent signings. But then you've seen the year like, the Rand Carthon year, where you threw it at a whole bunch of guys like L'Jarius Sneed and Kenneth Murray.
Yeah.
And
Calvin Ridley.
Ridley, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Didn't work. And so, it'll be interesting to see how much money they free up and how aggressive they are, because they need help.
Yeah. They're very interesting offensively to me, because when you have Patrick Mahomes, you expect that guy can create, but look, he's not a miracle worker. He masked a lot of problems within the Chiefs offense.
Like Brady at the end of his time in New England.
Right.
He didn't have a lot to work with, and he absolutely made the most of it.
Yeah. On the other end, Los Angeles, like you said, they're trying to win a Super Bowl. And
yes,
when you have Matt Stafford, who's the reigning MVP, I'm curious of the succession plan there in terms of.
Well, there isn't one at this point.
There isn't one.
So
I'm curious what they do. I mean, do they go Ty Simpson in the draft?
That's some people who believe that's what they're going to do at 13.
I could see it.
Yeah, sure.
I really could see it.
So I'm sorry to interrupt our SEC conversation.
No, it's okay.
I thought that was relevant.
No, it's an important trade that happened.
Yeah, big one.
But in terms of the SEC, I mean, Florida's obviously the team to beat. I don't think there's any arguing that there.
Yeah, but Florida could go 1-out in the SEC tournament. It wouldn't matter.
Right. They are right in at that 2 line, I would say. They're probably going to be a 2 seed in this tournament.
If they win the SEC tournament, do you think they could move up to a 1?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, it would depend on things ahead of them, like what happens in the Big 12. If Arizona wins that tournament, would you bump Florida over Houston?
Well, Lenardi said yesterday that if Arizona, Michigan, and Duke, they don't win another game, it doesn't matter. They're 1 seeds.
I would agree with
Arizona, Michigan, and Duke. Okay.
Yeah, that's 3 separate conferences too. So that's ACC, Big 12, Big 10.
And then with the Big East, it's really just UConn, St. John's, and Villanova. So it's significantly weaker. So if Florida wins the SEC versus UConn winning the Big East, I think Florida has a better argument.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting. And they're also the defending champs.
Yeah.
I think there has to be some value there, right?
And they're playing their best basketball.
But also, didn't UConn beat Florida like super early in the year? I wonder how much that'll play a factor in all
that. Was Arizona.
They're clearly,
yes, you're right.
They're clearly a different team.
Yeah. That I don't like thinking about, resume early in the year. Like Kentucky beat St. John's early in the year. They're both different teams now. Kentucky, is inconsistent, and St. John's is quite honestly a much better team than they were back then. So that's kind of the argument I have there. But in terms of the tournament next week, very wide open. I think there's a multitude of teams that could win that whole thing.
Parker, do you think Auburn can get in? Oh, he's in the other room there. But I mean,
absolutely not.
Okay.
They should not be anywhere near.
Because I keep hearing 11 SEC teams, and it would have to be have to be Auburn or Oklahoma as the 11th, and they're both 16 and 14. And I
don't like either of them.
Oklahoma's under consideration, and Auburn's the first team out, but they should not be. This bubble is so weak compared to previous years.
If you're talking about 16 and 14 teams getting in, then you need to shrink your field.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they want
do
to
the
expand.
opposite.
No, I know, but that's not where. Okay, so like we're talking about Belmont not getting in if they don't win the Missouri Valley tournament. You want to take Auburn at 16-14 over Belmont, winners of the Missouri Valley, if they don't win their tournament. I mean, come on.
Even the conversation with Miami, Ohio, too. Like, if they
Yeah,
don't win their
they're
tournament.
undefeated.
I know.
Yeah.
That's come on.
30-0.
Come on, we got to be serious.
They
here.
need to get in at large. Like, there's
I mean, you have to reward teams for winning at some point and punish teams for losing at some point.
Right.
Miami's a projected 11 seed.
I mean, look, the SEC is good. It is not a juggernaut.
Right.
And you're 16-14. All right.
Mhm.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's-
I mean, common sense has to come in at some point.
you know, yeah. And look, would Belmont like to play more tier 1 teams? Yes, they would.
Yeah.
Will they play Belmont? No, they will not,
Mhm.
because it doesn't do them any good
Right.
to
Hey.
beat Belmont.
Right.
And so they don't want to risk it. They don't want to risk the bad loss as they see it. And so Belmont can't get those games.
Mhm.
And you know, I'm always jaded because I went to Southern Illinois, and back when I was a freshman in 1989-90, we went 26-7, lost in the conference championship game at Illinois State to Illinois State by like 5 points, and got left out.
Yeah.
And I was like, are we serious here?
Yeah.
Well, we won 26 games. I mean, we lost by 5 points on this team's home floor.
It's a format I don't like because I understand where it's coming from. You want kind of the madness, and you want the group of 5 and even below that to see, succeed. But I feel like you should reward teams for winning.
Yes.
Yes. Like Miami, Ohio, if they go undefeated and lose in their conference tournament,
they got to be in.
They should still be in.
Come on. Let's be serious. They're in the MAC. They're not in the MEAC. They're in the MAC.
Yeah.
All right. There's a difference. You know, the MEAC is always a 16 seed.
Mhm.
The MAC is not.
Right.
All right. You know, going undefeated in the MAC is, and I'm not just trying to pick on the MEAC, but that's just like, that's a bottom tier.
No MEAC hate will be tolerated.
But it's a bottom tier league in the
It is.
NCAA tournament. It just is. And so those two things aren't the same. It's like going undefeated in the SEC is not like going undefeated in the Missouri Valley.
Yeah.
You know, the Missouri Valley is a decent basketball league, but you know, it's not like doing it in the SEC. And you know, when we're considering the MAC, you know, you find the team below the conference below them.
Yeah.
And you have to reward. And again, when you've lost 14 games, you've proven you know how to lose.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. You've proven it. We know how to lose. All
Yeah.
right. You know, we lost a lot. And if we come to the tournament, chances are we're going to lose some more.
Yeah. I mean, if Auburn gets in, I'm going to pencil whoever they play in that first round to beat them. So
yeah,
that's just right.
There'll be a 12. They will not be the 5-12 upset pick.
Nope. There's one every year. It won't be them
Yeah.
this year. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to get involved in the conversation. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis here with you on Next Man Up. We'll get back into the Titans in the next hour. Is it in the Titans' best interest to bring back a couple of free agents that are currently free agents? They could bring them back to.
Isn't it too late?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're unrestricted now, but
Yeah.
they could negotiate, bring them back. Is it in their best interest to do so? We'll do that coming up next here on the program. Again, Connor Newt, Cory Curtis here with you on Next Man Up on 102.5 The Game. Final hour here on this Wednesday. Next man up, Connor Newt, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly here with you, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game National Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Let's get back into the talk of the Tennessee Titans. There are two free agents that are currently not signed to the Titans that I think you can make the argument maybe it's in the best interest of the Titans to bring back.
Okay.
That being Chig Okonkwo
Yep.
and Kevin Zeitler.
Yep.
Would it be in their best interest to fill those positions back up with those two? Just because of what we know is out available on the market.
Well, I've always been a proponent of Chig in the passing game, in that I think he's good with the ball in his hands. And if you can get mismatches with him, I think he can really help you. Now, he's not a good blocker.
Yeah.
And so you just have to know what he is. But I think, the guy has sent out, 2 goodbyes now. So I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
And I think they've pretty much let him know he's not coming back. And so, Mike Vrabel will pay him $14 million a year and, and he'll be a New England Patriot next year. There's just about no doubt in my mind he will be moving to Foxborough.
Yeah.
So I understand the question. I'm just telling you, I don't think there's any chance in the world that it happens.
That's fair.
Now, Zeitler is an interesting decision. Does he want to keep playing? I think so. Does he believe in this team enough to spend his last years playing here? Does he think that they're going to get better? Do you bring him here just to start, or do you bring him here to battle with Jackson Slater and see, hey, maybe we sign him and maybe we don't end up keeping him?
Yeah.
I think he cost $8 million last year.
Yeah.
And I would think he would only be cheaper this year. He didn't get younger. He got older. So they've got the money to give him $7.5 million. And then you have him back in the fold. I think it's worth discussing. I think it's worth discussing. I think financially, if it fits, if you think health-wise, he did get dinged a little bit last year. But if you think he's up to it and you can work out a 1-year deal, then yeah, because you're going to spend money at center. Center's going to cost you. So you got to be able to afford it and understand it's probably for 1 more year, and then you've got to get young at that spot the next season.
Yeah, to me, guard is probably between those two, Zeitler and Slater. And it's a matter of, do you think the young guy is capable of coming in and producing at the level that Zeitler did last year, which isn't that hard. Zeitler wasn't that great.
He's like most of them. He got better as the year went on.
Yeah. I was prepared to come on here and preach pro Chig propaganda. I didn't realize that he had already said 2 goodbyes, which you were correct about. So never mind on that one.
No, look, I all season long, I'm like, they need to throw him the ball more. They need to throw him the ball more. They need to throw him the ball more. All season long, I said they need to re-sign him because he's going to go somewhere next year and catch 75 passes.
Yeah.
And I still believe that.
I do too.
Now, he still can't block, but I don't care.
It's like having an extra receiver out there.
I want him for what he is, not for what he isn't. But that's not what this team and its structure wants. Brian Daboll has had some tight ends. I don't think he used them a whole lot.
Yeah, that's true.
They drafted Theo Jackson. They didn't use him a whole lot. They had Darren Waller, led him to retire.
And then unretire.
And didn't he become like a rapper or something?
Yeah, he was dating was it Olivia Munn? And then she drove him to like a rap career. And then
we all make interesting choices in our lives. But yeah, so I don't know how much Brian Daboll wants to use the tight end.
Yeah.
I just don't like. I don't know how much 12 and 21 and blah blah blah. The Tehran and those guys probably be better to answer that than me. But I don't ever see Brian Daboll as a guy who's like, you look at Wan'Dale Robinson, 92, 93 passes. That doesn't leave a lot for the tight end because that's the slot. That's the quick, short underneath stuff. And that's where you'd want to get the ball to Chig a lot of those times. Yeah. And so I just don't think he's the fit for what they want. I would expect, they'll have Gunnar Helm, and I would expect they'll probably bring in, they've got David Martin Robinson too, but they'll probably bring in a Nick Van Eck type. Yeah. Would be my guess. But you never know. You could draft an Oscar Delp or an Eli Stowers in round 3.
Yeah.
And give yourself that receiver type Evan Ingram tight end.
Yeah.
But we'll see what Ryan Dable and company want to do.
That's an interesting point there. And how much of a factor will the tight end position be in a Brian Dable offense anyway? Would it be just in the best interest not to pay a guy that much money for a position you're not going to utilize as much as you would?
That's the way to look at it.
It makes sense. And I think, receivers are reliant on that. Your run game is reliant on that, especially if you decide to go the route of Jeremiah Love at number 4. You're probably going to use him a lot. So
you're going to need a tight end who can block.
Yeah. And I don't think Chig is capable of doing that.
He's not that guy. I love him, but that's not his strength. That's not who he is. That's why I said I sign guys for who they are, not who they aren't.
Yeah. In terms of the offensive line, I would be pro bringing back Zeitler if he's comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Just for continuity's sake of the offensive line. The offensive line was not the worst unit on the team last year.
No.
Which is good.
Not at the end of the season.
They improved as things went along. So for continuity's sake, obviously you're going to need a new center. You're not going to have Cushenberry in there. Yep. I don't think I would be okay with throwing Cory Levin in that position. I would go get a more experienced guy out there. But
yeah, I mean, look, every time Cory Levin has played, he's played pretty well.
Yeah, that's true.
But I agree. I don't think you necessarily want to go in with him as your starter.
Yeah.
I think you love having him as depth because then you're not afraid to play him.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's shown he's capable of making a start when he needs to, but I wouldn't turn the reins over to him as the starting center.
Yeah,
so
it's a big leap of faith.
But in terms of continuity, I mean, you got Dan Moore for at least another year.
Mm-hmm.
There's the opt-out after this year. You've got Skoronski and Latham. I would be okay bringing back Zeitler just for continuity's sake.
Well, I mean, again, we're looking at financials too.
Mm-hmm.
Skoronski is about to get paid.
Yes.
I mean, I kind of feel like that deal is coming before next Wednesday.
That would make sense. Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, Borgonzi told us at the combine he wants to get Peter signed to a long-term deal, and you would think for setting their cap, they would want that done before free agency.
Yeah.
Now, they could have a ballpark of what it is and know how they have to operate. So, but that is coming. You're probably you're hoping you have to pay JC.
Yeah.
Now you could do that and release more and start over at the other tackle. So you could offset that. But, the question is, how many of these guys can you pay? Can you pay Peter? Can you pay Linderbaum, say at center?
Yeah.
Can you pay Dan Moore, which you're doing right now? And then, can you pay all those guys? That's why a 1-year deal works.
Yeah.
That's why a 1-year deal works at right guard, if that's what you want to do. I don't know. There are other right guards that are out there. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have a big right guard list tattooed.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
But, we bring up Zeitler because he was here and like you talk about, I don't think, that whole being, used to each other. I think there's a value to it. I don't think it's everything. If the Titans thought it would everything, Lloyd Cushenberry would be back.
Mm-hmm.
They want to get better. And so I think the question is, can you be better at that spot than Kevin Zeitler? And that's what they need to look at. And if they don't think they can be better, then they need to bring him back.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to get involved in the conversation. Our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll continue this conversation coming up next. Plus, I want to ask Cory, what does his ideal offseason look like? I know
for me or for the team?
For you.
Oh, okay.
For you specifically.
For both.
All right.
I know I'm throwing you into a lot of subjective hypotheticals today, but it's fun. It's fun for me. We'll do that coming up next, right here on Next Man Up on 102.5 The Game. Sorry, I thought this was a spot.
No, this is Blondie, baby.
It is Blondie. Anyways, welcome back to
Debbie Harry,
Next Man
rock and roll legend.
here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Duke, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly staring at me through the glass like I just ran
Just
over his
enjoying
dog
the
or
tune.
something.
I was like, what's going on in there?
I was like, is this a spot or is this actual bump music? And it is actual bump music, and it's good bump music, and I appreciate
What was that? 1980, 81?
No idea.
he doesn't know.
Yeah, I think it might be 1980.
He don't know. He don't know. 615.
I'm old. I do.
That's okay. I'm an old man when it comes to music, so I appreciate this kind of stuff.
Okay, well, that's better than just being an old man. Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
No, that's Nick Frazier. Nick Frazier's just an old
He's
man.
an old man. Okay.
We're talking Titans offseason here on the program. Let's go to our phone line where we have a caller. Oh, wait, who's on the line, Parker? What's this man?
Sorry, a Rick.
Rick. Okay.
Rick is called in.
Okay. Let's go to our phone lines where Rick is waiting very patiently on our phone lines. Go ahead.
Okay, guys. Hey, love the show, number one. Number
Thank
two,
you.
over the last month or so, the mock drafts almost across the board had us taking an edge rusher.
Yeah.
Whether it's Bain or somebody else. And then this week, all of a sudden, I see this, it might have been Davenport, that, if I was going to be this receiver, this hot shot receiver from Ohio State, can't remember his name. And then, and then today or yesterday, it was like, wow, Jeremiah Love, are you kidding?
Mm-hmm.
And not that I'm opposed to that, but I would just like to ask you guys, who's your pick?
Oh.
And then I'll hang up here, and thank you for taking the call.
Yeah, no, hey,
Thank you, Rick.
a big reason, by the way, to explain why you're hearing these new names come out is because of the combine, and not just how guys produce the combine, but everybody gets together and talks.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody gets together and talks. And so, word coming out of the combine is the Titans love Jeremiah Love.
Mhm.
And now, is it enough to take him? I don't know. Is it all smoke to get someone to trade up? That's possible as well. So that's why you see it benefits the Titans to have them around more names. Okay. And so that's why it is. Like, I don't think I could take any of the receivers at 4.
I can't either.
And I could take Jeremiah Love, but I prefer to get him at like 6 or 7, or even 5, if I could get some more picks. And I have a really hard time with differentiating the edges. I think for me, it's between 3 guys: Bain, Bailey, and Love, and what I want to do. Which one would I take? Catch me at the right moment.
Yeah. I flip-flop between the 2 edge rushers. It depends on where you're making me pick. If you're making me stay at number 4, I'd probably go between the 2 edge rushers. And honestly, which one I go with probably depends on what the Jets do at number 2. Will they take an edge rusher, which, as they just traded one to you, I feel like that's probably the move they're going to make.
I think the belief is that Arvell Reese is a Jet.
Okay. So you're probably picking between Bailey and Bain, and
Bain.
which if you're going in terms of what you want right now and you want instant impact, I feel like Bain is probably the guy to deliver on that front, just because he might fit the 4-3 a little bit better than Bailey does right away. But in terms of ceiling and the player that I think Bailey can become, I would take Bailey based off the ceiling.
He's so fast and so long.
Yes.
I mean,
but I don't think there's a wrong answer here in terms of the.
It's a nice position to be in.
Yes,
it's a nice position to be in. And listen, I didn't mention this before. I don't think I did. If they do want to go wide receiver, I think it would be trading down to like 10 and taking Mekhi Lemon.
Yes, I
think Mekhi Lemon would be the. And I don't know this for sure because the kid from Ohio State, is obviously a player.
Yeah.
But I think Mekhi Lemon is attractive to a lot of people, and he's a riser. And I think if you get the 10th pick and pick him and get more picks, I think I'd be okay with that.
I wouldn't be mad at him for that. But I mean, like I said, it depends on where you're making me pick. If I'm going to trade down to like number 10, I'd probably think about Lemon.
Yeah.
If I'm staying at 4, I'm probably going edge rusher.
If you're 6 to 9, you're thinking about
probably Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all dependent on where I'm drafting. And, I'm sure the Titans are battling this conversation internally, what they think they're going to do. And fact of the matter is, we don't know what they're going to do until it happens.
Here's the big question. If you've got Love graded higher than all three of the edge rushers, do you take him? Because he's graded higher.
Yeah.
And there's a very good chance he is, because there's a lot of people who believe he is the very best player in this draft.
I would agree with that.
And so, if you're going by your board, he's your guy, and now you're going to release Tony Pollard and free up more money.
Yeah. It's just a matter of what do you want the framework of this team to look like in the future.
Yeah.
And look, I think either way is a good way. I think if you want to go edge rusher, you can find someone to carry the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep Pollard for all I care because he can carry the ball.
Yeah.
If you want to go Love, you can find edge rushers out there that are capable of getting to the quarterback.
Yeah.
There's no wrong answer.
You can draft one in the second round.
Yeah,
again,
that too.
A guy like Zion Young, who's a good football player. And then you could sign a guy like Jalen Phillips from the Eagles.
Yep.
And you're okay. Well, now we're in pretty good shape. We got two ends of the future and two of the now, and we got Jeremiah Love. And so all of a sudden that looks pretty good. And that's why I say catch me at the right moment. I don't. There's very rarely a draft pick where you're just like, yes, this guy is a superstar.
Right.
I mean. We know for sure 100%.
Right.
You just do what you think is going to work out, and that's why you have to trust your board. You just do. But the question is say you're like 0.3 points away. All right, is that enough to say, well, we're going to take him over the edge because he's higher on our board?
Yeah.
But if he's like 1.3 points higher, then you're like, okay.
Probably.
We need to take him. He's the best player. We need to take him. If that's the case, and that remains to be seen.
Yeah, and we won't know until it happens. But like I've said earlier in the show, this is, at least in my lifetime, and I'm a young guy, but this is, at least in my lifetime, the most wide open it's felt for the Titans in terms of who they're going to draft in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember years where they drafted, Kenny Britt and Kendall Wright.
Yeah.
And some of these guys. I remember when they drafted Taylor Lewan. That kind of came out of left field. It turned out to be a great draft pick. He was their highest rated tackle, and they got him at 10 or 11.
Yeah.
They were and that turned out to be a good pick by taking the high. And it was viewed that they didn't need a tackle because they had Michael Ruse. Now he got hurt like one game into the season. So at that point, Taylor Lewan was their left tackle. But again, and that one paid off because they trusted their board and they took the right guy. But so, yeah, I mean, usually when you're very good, you're honing in on that guy who pushes you over the top. But when you got a whole bunch of stuff to fill, it leaves you pretty wide open.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've got a lot of holes, but it feels like if you go in the direction of filling one hole, it's not going to be the wrong answer.
No, because again, you've got money to spend.
Yeah.
And you have another high pick in the second round. I mean, picking 35th, I mean, it's
important.
That's almost a first rounder.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be, and that's, why are the Titans bad? Well, because they failed on so many of these high picks in the past. I mean, just look at like Will Levis and Malik Willis. Neither one of them is this team's quarterback anymore, and they're second and third round picks.
Right.
So that's second and third round picks that aren't playing for this team. Dylan Radins was a second round pick.
Yeah.
Not playing for this team anymore. Isaiah Wilson, Caleb Farley, and we go on and on with all these first, second, third round picks who aren't playing for this team anymore. Those guys all need to be starters. AJ Brown, not with this team anymore.
Rashaan Evans.
Rashaan Evans was a first round pick.
Yeah.
And he was a one contract guy. And those things hurt you long term.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to get involved in the conversation. We'll continue this on the other side. Plus, now I'll ask Cory Curtis what his ideal offseason looks like. I appreciate the calls, though. It helps us fill some airtime. We'll get to that on the other side here on Next Man Up. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly here with you on 102.5 The Game. Sunglasses at night. I love it. There you go. Welcome back in. Next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Cory Curtis in today. Jake Lyman on his way to the SEC women's basketball tournament.
I was in middle school when this came out.
Who sings this?
Corey Hart.
Cory Hart. That's right.
I'm a proud Canadian.
The lesser known Cory.
Well, there's also Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. Lots of Corys in the 80s.
Cory in the house. Well, he was 20 years later, but that's okay. Speaking of Cory Curtis. What does the ideal off season for Cory Curtis look like?
You're talking about my June, July.
Yes.
Like not Titans related, just me, just doing me.
Yes.
All right. Well,
that too.
Okay. Number one, I'm a fan of going to the beach.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan of just sitting on the beach every day for like 7 straight days.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to the beach and I'm doing stuff. You know, one day I may go out and go to the beach and sit in the sand and body surf and just enjoy. But the next day I'm chartering a boat and I'm going fishing. All right. You know, whether it be, you know, for mackerel or for sharks or for whatever, flounder. I like to get on the water and I like to do some fishing.
Okay.
All right. And then maybe the next day I'm back at the beach. And then the next day I'm off doing something else, you know, whether it be, you know, kayaking, snorkeling, you know, shark tooth hunting. You know, I need an activity.
Mm-hmm.
I need something that stimulates my brain. You know, and because I can be a marshmallow one day, but I need to do something the next.
Yeah.
So I need that trip where I go and do that. Now I will just tell you the other one is I've got the big trip planned with my daughter, which I've been trying to map out. She's 13.
Okay.
And this will stun you. I asked her what she wanted to do this summer. She wants to go to the Mothman Museum in West Virginia.
Okay. Interesting.
So, yes. So I've got it mapped out. We're going to go to the Mothman Museum. There's a Bigfoot museum 2 hours down the road. We're going to check that out. Then we're going to turn south. And what's the river in East Tennessee? The Ocoee?
Yes.
And we've never gone whitewater rafting before.
I've never done that before.
We're going to do the whitewater rafting.
It's bucket list for me.
Yeah. So we're doing a big circular road trip, and then we're working our way back towards Nashville from there. Nice. I don't know if there's another leg to that trip or not, but those are kind of my two summertime getaways.
Nice. Any baseball on the docket this summer?
No. And I'll watch the Cubs some, but
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody in my life who wants to go to baseball games with me. So, well, yeah, I take that back. My old mentor at Southern Illinois University, Mike Reese, who just retired after calling games for close to 40 years.
Wow.
He's a big baseball guy. And so I used to go to like Cubs and Cardinals and White Sox games with him a bunch. And he comes here sometimes and we go to Sounds games together. So if I'm going to go to a baseball game, it's probably going to be with him.
I say this as I made the mistake of wearing a St. Louis Cardinals shirt to work.
I almost throat punched you and you walked in the door and said, "Get out, Satan."
I realized it as I was halfway down the interstate. I was like, wait a minute. Cory's from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
He might kill me.
Yeah, you know, I'm letting all the Cardinal fans wallow in their misery because right now they all still think that they're an elite franchise, but you haven't won the World Series in 13 years. And you're in your you all made fun of the Cubs for their 108 years of futility. You're in your 108 years. No one believed me. They didn't believe me year 4. They didn't believe me year 6. They didn't believe me year 9. We are 13 years in. Is anybody talking about the Cardinals winning the World Series this year?
No, they're actually talking about the opposite.
Okay.
Of them being the worst team in the Central.
So we're talking about 14 years. All right. Am I a jerk? Yes. You know why? Because I grew up and I had a lot of Cardinal fans who were total jerks to me, and I love giving it back.
Dylan and Antioch on the text line says, "Is it the Bigfoot Museum in Blue Springs, Georgia?"
No. Okay. Because I do want to go see that one. Write a review of that for me if it's worth going to see.
Okay. He says he's been there and it's awesome.
Okay. So. Okay, one other question. How far is it from Dalton, Georgia? Because I'm actually going to Dalton, Georgia on Saturday. My daughter has a soccer tournament down there.
Nice.
But there's another Bigfoot museum in West Virginia. And actually, I can't remember the name of it. There's a second museum in that same town. There's some monster that was in West Virginia that was like some alien monster. And there is a museum dedicated to it as well. And I think we're going to try to see that one too.
Huh. You are giving me a lot of information I didn't know I was going to learn today.
Yeah, we're very
museums.
cryptid oriented. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't have huge expectations for these things.
Yeah.
But it's like a 6.5 hour drive to the Mothman Museum.
Yeah.
I could do that.
That's not
I
bad.
could do that. We'll go see it.
Yeah.
We'll go see it. And
Why
you can't
not?
tell me a hotel in West Virginia is going to cost a lot of money.
No. Why not?
I mean, I could probably make a trade with like chickens or something in West Virginia. That was really mean, wasn't it?
I'll give you 3 poultry for
a room.
For a room at your finest
At
establishment.
this fine inn. We'll give you a 4th for electricity.
If you throw in Wi-Fi, we'll give you half of a ham.
Oh, Wi-Fi. They don't even know what
Oh
that is.
yeah, they don't know what that is. That's right.
I need someone to crank the windmill outside to get electricity.
Breakfast will be served between 4 a.m. and
Yeah.
6 a.m.
Yeah,
Scrambled eggs and I don't know.
I like scrambled eggs.
Yeah, scrambled eggs are good.
We can do that.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's my summer.
There we go.
I don't know how that sounds to you, but
That was the turn I was not expecting to make, but it's a welcome turn.
yeah. Your 13-year-old daughter. That's not the request you expect to get, but I was kind of excited about it. I'm not going to lie.
Now you're getting recommendations. Go to Village Pizza across from the museum and get the Mothman pizza.
All right. Hey, I'm writing that down.
Okay.
I'm writing it. Is there a hotel I should stay at there?
I don't know. 615-737-1025. Let Cory know where he should stay in West Virginia when he goes to see the Mothman Museum.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is certainly one of the
Look, if you're like me and you love alien, Bigfoot, ghost shows, all right, get Amazon Prime and get a Paramount subscription, and just go to the live channel for the live programming.
Yeah.
There are endless live programs. Like, I frankly don't watch much else. All right. I mean, it's either Star Trek on Paramount because there's like 7 different series, or I'm watching cryptid stuff.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of the same stuff over, but it just fascinates me.
it's a comfort show.
Well, look, I always say, because I saw a UFO. I mean, I had a UFO sighting. Like, I spell it all out for you. I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm just telling you, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say I keep my mind open to things. I'm not going to say it's a monster. I'm not going to say it's an alien. I'm not going to say it's like every time they hear a sound, they say, "Oh, that's a squatch," and I'm like, "You don't know that. That could be a horned owl for all you know."
Yeah.
But I keep my mind open to things and saying, "Well, we don't have an explanation."
Yeah.
So until you have an explanation, I'm open, and so that's the way I stay.
There is a Hampton Inn across from your museum.
Okay.
So
Hampton Inn's all right. They usually have breakfast.
yeah.
They have the waffle machine. If you have kids, they've got to have the waffle maker.
Yep. As someone with 2 younger siblings, if that waffle machine isn't in the hotel.
Yeah. Did you ever get to make the waffles, or did they demand to make the waffles for you? Because that's usually my daughter will just stand there and make waffles for
when
everyone.
they were younger. It was we're all 4 years apart, so I'm
safe spacing.
I'm 22. My brother
18
is
and 14,
and then my sister's 14.
Okay.
So when they were younger, it was I had to make it. Now that they're adults, they do it. So is what it is.
Well, I appreciate the info from everybody.
I mean, the text line's blowing up.
So
right now, I'll
got,
get to some of this on the other
so
side.
I've got the Hampton Inn, and I've got the Village Pizza with the Mothman special.
Yes,
that's
what I'm learning.
I'm just telling you, people, this is going to happen. All right.
I've got a lot of questions for you from our audience on the other side.
Let's do it.
We'll get to that on the other side. Cory Curtis, Connor Newt here with you on Next Man Up on 102.5 The Game. Ah, yes. The greatest song in the history of sports. Just goosebumps thinking about it.
We're going to have a cryptid bracket. We're going to
Yes.
seed cryptids 1
Yes.
through 16.
Yes, we are. Next.
The West Virginia Mothman.
Yeah, hey, the Mothman's probably a top 4 seed.
Next minute up on 102.5 The Game. Connor Duke, Cory Curtis here with you. And boy, have we got off on a tangent here. But it's okay because I welcome it. 615-737-1025 The Game. We are learning about the cryptic life of Cory Curtis.
Well, okay, so if you didn't hear the last segment, Connor asked me what I was doing, what I would like to do this summer, and I informed him, in fact, that my daughter and I are going on a cryptid adventure. We're going to go to the Mothman Museum, and we're going to go to the Bigfoot Museum, and there's another monster museum in West Virginia that we're going to see as well before we go whitewater rafting. But so yes, and so we're getting a lot of good cryptid recommendations, and I appreciate those. I will take cryptid questions, and yes, I have had
there are plenty of those.
I've had 1 UFO experience, and I've had 2 ghost experiences, which I'm happy to relate to anyone who wants to know.
Okay, we'll start with Devin and Dixon on the text line, which asks, "Where did you see the UFO?"
Well, okay, so I live in Williamson County, just past Ravenwood High School, and I was driving home from one night between 11:30 and midnight down Wilson Pike southbound, just after Ravenwood High School. For anybody who's been down there, you know there's a tree line that runs between north and south roads. And so as I'm going to, I'm looking through the tree line, and I've been making this trip for 15 years, so I know exactly what's supposed to be there and what's not. And I see 2 bright lights side by side, and they are so bright that I can't tell how big the structure is that they're behind. I eventually get to a point on the tree line where it's really open, and it's almost midnight, so there's nobody behind me. I just come to a dead stop. I roll my window down, and it is silent, okay? And I'm staring at it. It's probably 5 or 10 seconds, but not enough time for me to pick up my phone and take a picture of it, although it would have just been a white light.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it like slowly starts to lurch forward, and then it just goes like in Star Trek, and it's gone.
Hyperspace.
And without making a sound. And like, I'm telling you, it was 500, 1,000 feet away. I should have heard something. I mean, my window was down. It's night. There's nothing else going on. So I filed a report with MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. And the guy asked me, he goes, if you held up your thumb, how many thumbs would it take to cover it? And I'm like, I said, it was like 2 or 3 months ago. I said, probably 2, maybe 3. He goes, man, I've been doing this 5 years. That's the first time I've heard more than 1. And I'm like, well, congratulations. Here you go.
You just set a record.
And he called me back a few weeks later. He's like, man, there are no other reports of what you saw. So we have nothing else to balance against, but just wanted to let you know, we appreciate your input. That was my UFO experience.
Let's see. 2765 says, Cory, how long ago was this? I thought I saw the same thing a good bit of years back right near Ravenswood Farm.
Okay. Yeah. So about 5 years ago would be my guess. Somewhere in that ballpark, maybe 4.
You're getting some backup. Maybe you should call.
Call MUFON.
Yeah, let them know.
Or you actually just bring it up on your computer and you file a report, and then they get back to you.
Now, Nevada Josh is giving you some cryptid show recommendations.
Okay, I'll tell you if I've already watched them.
Skinwalker Ranch.
That's my favorite show on television.
Is it?
Absolutely.
What is it? I'm not.
Okay,
familiar.
Skinwalker Ranch is a ranch in Utah where they have been investigating paranormal activity for a really long time.
Okay.
You know what? A skinwalker is basically like a werewolf.
Yeah.
All right. And it's an ancient Indian thing. And so, you know, you have skinwalker sightings out there, but the big thing that they have out there are UFO sightings. And these guys are trying to get behind all the things that are happening on this ranch that defy explanation. I mean, it is, and it's a group of scientists, and they're constantly running experiments. And, you know, they launch rockets into the sky, and UFOs show up all the time. They track UFOs that fly into this mesa, which is basically a giant mountainside.
Yeah.
They'll just go right in, and then they'll come flying out the other side.
Oh, cool.
And this stuff's all on camera.
Yeah.
You see all of it. And it's utterly fascinating. Like, if you don't believe in portals, and I get it if you don't, because you got to prove it, right?
Yeah.
But you will be like on board thinking, okay, this is a possibility, because stuff appears and disappears.
I believe in the transfer portal.
The transfer portal for like other earthly beings. It's a great show. I mean, it's a documentary show. It's real. You know, they haven't proved anything yet, but you know, the craziest thing is, so they've got this drill that goes sideways into the mesa instead of straight down.
Yeah.
And they hit something in there, and the bit goes into it and then down like it's a big oval shaped thing. And like this thing's designed to go through rock. It couldn't go through it.
Oh,
and so then bits of what they're drilling comes out, and there's metal sheets, like sheets off of a ship.
Oh,
and they're analyzing what these metal sheets are made of, and it's basically what heat shielding on the space shuttle is. And it's in the middle of this mesa. And so they're all trying to, what on earth are we looking at? It's my favorite show. I need a new season.
There's a bunch, like I'm getting a lot of recommendations.
Sure, go ahead. Fire away.
Age of Disclosure.
Yep.
Let's see.
Unacknowledged, I'm sure, is on there. It's a must watch for everyone.
Blind Frog Ranch.
Blind Frog Ranch is a little hokey. I'm like, you know, Blind Frog Ranch, you watch and you go, is this real?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say about Blind Frog Ranch.
Oak Island.
Oak Island it's not a cryptid show. It's a treasure hunting show, but it's also really good.
Okay. I'm learning a lot here. As someone who believes in the paranormal and things like that.
Well, we need to party, cowboy.
This is why I don't watch horror movies, because that stuff, like I can do all the stupid stuff, like you know, Pennywise the Clown or whatever, but like
no, I don't watch that.
The real stuff to me is like the paranormal, like possession stuff.
Well, yeah, the possession stuff is scary. Okay, I had 2 ghost experiences.
Okay,
like up close and personal, and like you would think they would have scared me, but they did not. Like after they were over, I was fine.
Yeah, but
I mean, like I almost got hit by a freezer door. It went flying past my ear and then slammed back shut. And you would have thought that would freak you out. And I was just, but like, I didn't have the heebie-jeebies or anything. I just thought the guy was messing with me. That was it.
This is. Let's see. Austin says, have you ever saw during the daytime floating light or a patch of what looks like a cloud that's within touching distance?
No. Okay. No, I have not. That's kind of like that movie Nope.
Yeah. I've seen
Nope.
That. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't know that was going to be about aliens, but it was. But no, I have not seen that.
This is people are recommending Cory Curtis leaves his job at News 2 and just becomes an insider for Skinwalker Ranch.
I would love to be like Josh Gates, you know, for Expedition Unknown and Expedition X. That would be like an unbelievable job. I've been pitching for years. I want to do a Monsters of Middle Tennessee like summer. Where I just do monster stories from Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
And
that'd be cool.
That'd be great. I could go after like giant catfish, Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, all that stuff.
Nash,
mountain lions.
Just have Nash running around, and you know, you got like a giant fly net.
Anything else in there for me?
I mean,
is that it?
We've about hit it. There's lots of Elvis sightings in West Virginia, so just be aware.
Okay. Have you heard of the lizard man in South Carolina?
I have not.
Yeah, so there's a lot of sightings of the lizard man. That's a big one down there. It's down near, I think, Bishopville. But there's a story about this kid back in like 1980s. He's changing the wheel of his car, and this big giant lizard man chases after him, you know, like 7 feet tall. And he gets in his car and drives away, calls the police. And then like they actually like write a newspaper story about it. And like after they write the newspaper story, like 150 other calls come in saying, I saw the same thing. People were just afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
And then once they got it like confirmed, they did that. Now they have a lizard man parade and all sorts of stuff. You know, okay, the guy who blew up First Avenue, he was obsessed with lizard people.
Oh,
that's why he thought lizard people had taken over the AT&T building, and so he wanted to blow up the AT&T building. There's a documentary about this. I think it's on Netflix.
Okay.
But there's about his whole thing, and he was obsessed with lizard people. I'm not obsessed with lizard people.
Yeah.
Right. But
not yet.
No, not yet, not ever. But the lizard man sightings down in South Carolina are fascinating because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
But it's South Carolina.
Final question here.
Okay.
As we wrap things up, Who are the top 4 seeds in the crypto brackets?
Okay. Well, we all know who number 1 is, right?
It's Bigfoot.
Bigfoot is definitely number 1. You know, I would say the aliens as a whole, it would have to be number 2.
Yeah.
And then with Nessie would firmly come in at number 3. Do we count the Yeti and Bigfoot as the same? I do.
I would.
I'm counting them the same.
I would.
And then you get into the Skinwalker, the werewolf, you're considering all those, but there's just so much about the Mothman. I'm gonna
the Mothman.
I'm gonna pencil home the Mothman at number 4. But there's a whole lot more out there, but that's where I'm going.
Well, congratulations, Cory. You're officially a part of the biggest turn a sports show I've ever done.
All right, man.
But I welcome it. It was great.
My nerd factor has just blown up exponentially, and I'm here for it.
I appreciate the time, Cory. Thanks for being here with me.
All right.
For Cory Curtis and Parker Kelly, my name's Connor Newt saying so long. This has been Next Man Up on 102.5. Chasing Big Joe coming up next right here on 102.5 The Game.